especially partying in my 20s.
Yeah, man. I didn't know she had a little bit of hood in them like that.
Dude, I mean, speaking of prickly elder,
Yeah.
they used to sell BWOMS.
Really?
Yeah. And one night I blacked out there at Black Market because I was drinking one. I was drinking it might have been one of these actually.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, this won't have label in.
Hey, you can do whatever, dog. We ain't sponsored by nobody. You good.
Well,
We keep it authentic.
you know,
here.
it's a habit, man, because I used to do 306 sessions,
Yeah.
so I'd always be like,
What was 306 Sessions?
it was a TV show on
Yeah.
local PBS channel.
Oh, okay.
So it was an
Yeah.
open mic, and then we also taped a live taping of like bands, musicians. We would put
It was a
them on
good
our
vibe, dog.
PBS channel.
How long did you run that one?
A couple of years.
Yeah, when did you start the open mic game? Or game in general?
2008, man.
Cheers.
Cheers, dog.
Yeah. See, I already had my Red Bull. I said we're already filming, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Here, let me sit in here.
Oh, you good, man.
Yeah, whatever you want to do. It's a pretty fucking lax. Oh yeah, you watched Adam's episode. Like,
Yeah, just chill convo.
basically.
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, honestly, I have to say he's the originator of the open mic pretty much here in El Paso.
Interesting.
When I
I've
first
been doing it the longest.
Yes.
If anything.
Yeah, you've been the most consistent with it.
started looking for open mics and shit like that, yours was the one that popped up everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I saw you a couple times at Mona or Rosewood.
Yeah.
Rosewood.
Yeah.
Every time I would go, it was not the comic night. though.
Which was a relatively new change, and I guess we could talk about that too.
We'll talk
'cause
about
it's
that. Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll definitely get to that. Because I'm intrigued. Yeah. So
those are good.
when you started off?
I went to my very first open mic in 2008.
Okay.
Wow.
I think was it
That's a while
2008?
ago.
I think it was, man. I was in college, and some friends wanted to go to one, and it was an open mic called Verse and Harmony,
Oh, yeah?
which was run by a couple friends of mine. Well, at the time, I hadn't met them yet, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then I heard about barbed wire because I started going to these Verse and Harmony, and
Yeah.
people would talk about the barbed wire because my homie Rob was running that.
Yeah.
Rob Santos or Rob Nice, and I never imagined I would be running that. In 2012, I took over and I started actually running it because I don't know, a lot of people don't know this. We're part of a nonprofit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah.
You guys did the paperwork.
So we
Yeah.
we got picked up. So I took over 2012. Barbed wire has been around since 2007.
Damn,
So
bro.
it's been a
Wow,
while.
bro.
Yeah.
It is a while.
So it actually started as part of the UTEP Creative Writing Graduate Program, the UTEP MFA Creative Writing Program, and it was created as an opportunity for students and professors to kind of share their work at the end of each month.
Okay.
And I think over time it started expanding to music, and then eventually, I guess the program stopped doing it.
Yeah.
So the creators decided to just take it out into the community,
Yeah.
and we were picked up by Border Senses, which is a literary nonprofit. And through Border Senses, we also do all sorts of writing workshops.
Yeah.
I think we have 3 different writing workshop programs.
Yeah.
One is for youth, for teens and young college students.
Yeah.
One's for migrant workers and the families of migrant workers.
Oh.
Yeah, and then we had a journal too, like a publication where people would send in their prose, their poetry, their visuals, and would publish a book. So that's what Border Senses was. They picked us up.
Yeah.
I think we tried a bunch of different spots too.
Yeah.
Kinley's, but it's not a really good spot for any kind of open mic.
Yeah.
So how many books are out? Like you said?
I mean, you know what? I don't know the official number
There's a
on
bunch,
that.
though?
There's a bunch.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
we
cool
eventually
shit.
stopped.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. Probably the last 8 or 10 years, all of those projects have been running independently. Like my open mic is one of the projects.
Yeah.
But I kind of just run independently. We're trying to get started up again.
Yeah.
Find new board members, because that's where funding comes from. You know, they help us.
Man.
But so I've been running it on my own. So, like I said, I took over 2012 as the official project director of the thing.
Dude, since I've known him, dude, he's always, you've been an uplifter of the community, as they say. Like you are, dog. You're like, when you walk into your open mics, it's just a positive vibe there. You said it. Even when you tell people to be quiet, he'll be like this. You're really nice about it. Usually at other mics, community can be like, can y'all shut the fuck up? But you like this. Hey guys, they support each other. I want everybody engaged, but when we're talking, can we calm it down a little bit?
You ever tell people to shut the fuck up?
No. So for me as a host, I think I want to have people feel comfortable and like have a good time. And as like the MC, I feel like if I do that, you know, people are gonna like piss off or never come back.
So it's different for comedy.
I was gonna say yes. I think there's more permission, I guess, in like a comedy scene. Since I'm doing a multi-genre mic.
Yeah, you touch everything.
I think I have to walk a little more carefully and like ensure.
Because you have a mixture of talent. That's what's cool about it.
I see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a mixture of talent. That's what I like about the open mics, because you have comedy, poetry, music, and there's a lot of talented people in El Paso.
There are.
That I gotta say.
Yeah.
They just untouched, like a unpolished diamond, if you say. But they're out there, dog. I mean, that's one thing about your mics. That's one of the first mics I went to.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, there's so much talent here, bro. And you sitting there like, and everybody's supportive for the most part. Just you going up there, they give you props for that, bro. They're like, yo, man, you did your thing. Whether you think you did great or not, you're still, it's a supportive like an environment. You kind of set the tone. And I want everybody to know, I've been saying this for a while. I said it to you already. If you see Richie running the mics, guys, buy him a drink. He should never have to pay for a drink. If he's giving you an outlet to perform or he's vent, you should be like, hey, Richie, what you need, man? Let me get you a drink. Even if he turns you down, but at least offer. That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
you should never be like thirsty at an open mic, dog. You bring all the equipment, you break everything up and down. So
I like this.
Appreciate that.
you deserve it, bro. I'm just saying, I'm gonna give you flowers. One thing about what we're doing, man, like I try to give people their flowers. You know how people wait till some bad happens to them. Oh yeah, he was a great person, man. Yeah, they're with your dad. Yeah, man, I always liked his shoes, man. It's like, nah, you give people their flowers while they're here, man. Like don't wait till like some tragic happens and you're like, nah, because you've been a good dude, man. Like you set the president and the vibe, though. And I know sometimes I've seen you ask for help.
Yeah.
Like you'd be like, yo, I can't do this by myself. Like, but sometimes when he does that shit, nobody answers, dog. You're like, if anybody wants to run a mic with me, help me out.
That's actually not true. People do.
Really?
But people are all over the place, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and what happens is, in order for someone to run it for me, I want them to like shadow me a little bit to see how I run it. Not too many people are down for that.
Oh no, yeah, they know.
And then there's some people who want to help, but then they don't have it right. They don't have wheels. Like,
that sounds like
that's rough in El Paso.
That one happens a lot.
Everywhere.
But that sounds like some comedians right there.
Right.
Hey man, can you pick me up at the open mic, man? That's where I'll be, man. You got a ride, man.
That's funny.
And they won't give you no gas money either. Hey man, yeah, you see you pumping gas. Yeah.
So when you first started going to open mics, you were doing poetry and stuff like that? What were you doing?
When I started going to them.
Yeah, just going to them.
So the one I went to, I was talking about Verse and Harmony. So it's called Verse and Harmony. So it was writing and music.
Yeah.
So it was that mixed. And then like I said, when I started going to Barbed Wire, I guess.
You were performing though?
Yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying. I was doing.
Sorry.
I was doing poetry and music a little bit because I play the saxophone, a little bit of jazz. So I tried.
Nice.
The very first time I just did poetry.
Yeah.
I didn't even plan on performing.
Yeah.
The funny coincidence, and maybe this is like a lesson on how like any given moment you can change your life, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, I was in college. I was at UTEP, and I had my group of friends. Most of them from high school. Made a bunch of new friends in college, and my friend was starting to date this girl, and she wanted to go to an open mic to share her poetry. And my friend plays piano, so they made the plan to go to an open mic, and he sent like a group text, hey, we're going to this open mic, and I almost wasn't gonna go. I was like, I got stuff to do. But on a whim, I'm like, okay, I'll go check it out. And the only reason why is because that open mic was kind of close to where I was living, so I didn't feel like, it didn't feel like bothersome, like, I have to drive all the way out to this place. It was close by, and so I got there kind of early, which in El Paso I guess you shouldn't do. So I was just there, kind of waiting, and there was no one really there yet. And in that time of waiting, I realized I got some stuff I've written. In high school, I was we had a literary journal, so I kind of did that. So I wrote some stuff. I thought, fuck, it's open mic. I'll go print some stuff out. So I drove home. Like I said, just because I was close to the venue, I was able to drive home, print stuff out, come back. And I read some stuff that night, and it was really just to support my friend who wanted to be there. And I never would have ever imagined that day that would be a huge part of my life. Not just going open mics, but running them and learning the professional skills involved with that would translate to other opportunities and gigs, and of course that professional development, but also just meeting all the coolest people. Like you said, like talented people, passionate people. You kind of have to be passionate to stick with it. You know, when it's an open mic's you're not gonna make a living doing that, but people who are passionate about the art to develop it and go to open mics and sharpen your skills and work on your skill set, and I guess even just brave enough to go up there in the first place. There are so many people who will criticize but never dare try that on their own, you know?
No, they won't. They won't.
I feel like they turn into hecklers.
They do.
Yeah, sometimes.
That's an interesting phenomenon, right? Like,
but most time you're doing it at bars at times. So you have that mixture of alcohol.
Right.
So everybody's brave to just yell out crap when you're like doing
that's the common MC talking point, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, the more you drink, the better we sound, or liquid courage, you know, for the performers. But I started with poetry like that, just straight up, and then I kind of like found a community in doing these open mics. Yeah. And meeting new people. Like, to me, that was like the quintessential college thing, you know. But I know it wasn't tied to the college experience, but being around that age and being in college, like, oh, cool, we'll get to meet new people, you know, from different backgrounds and experiences. And so I started to get experimental. I showed up one time with my saxophone. I was like, all right, I'm gonna just play the sax and spit some poetry and you know. And so I became like the jazz poet for a while. There was like a El Paso magazine did a little story on us, and I got a cool little photo spot there, holding my saxophone and looking stoically into the distance. I gotta find that picture. I think it's on my social media somewhere.
That's cool,
man. I really enjoyed it as like a social time, you know, hanging out with people, and I started hanging out at Barbed Wire, and then I thought that was a really cool project. And the Barbed Wire, I think, was open to everything a little bit, even though and that one was much more rare at the time. It was always just the last Saturday of every month. Yeah. So because of that, it would get packed.
Are there like poetry showcases? What do poets
Sometimes,
do?
yeah. So that's the thing. There aren't too many spaces for poets or poetry. It's usually in the schools. So if you do like a poetry club, but in the college, if you're studying poetry, creative writing departments, like I've been teaching at El Paso Community College since 2011. We have groups there on campus that do poetry readings. We used to do poetry slams. I guess that was kind of a big thing too. We haven't really had a poetry slam in El Paso in quite a while, but I started the last one, and I was part of the one previous to that. Yeah. And I remember we'd always trade nights with the comedy nights, you know, downtown, like the Network. I remember there were comedy nights at the Network, and we'd have a poetry slam at the Percolator, and then I think sometimes we would like switch nights. Yeah. Like comedy would move to the Percolator, and then we did poetry slam at the Network.
Yeah, I remember that, and I remember also my favorite spot that's closed now was Black Orchard.
Yeah,
dude, he ran that, so it was like $1 tacos. The vibe was, that's when like everything was kind of harmony between everybody at that point. I think.
At that point,
yeah, with comedians and everything else, because everybody was supportive.
The culture is different.
Culture was different, and the thing is, Richie was real cool because sometimes he would put certain comedians like me behind certain poets. There's this one guy, I forgot his name. He did like erotic poetry.
Dude, Kiss the Poet.
Yes.
I was thinking about it the other day.
Dude, he was always doing erotic shit, dog. It was like, yo, he would get all the women hot and heated, dog.
Yes.
And then I would go right after him. And I'm like, I can't follow this, man. I can't follow this.
Dude, that was, oh my God, though. Like, yeah, but it was like, it was erotic poetry, but it was like not just sensual, man. It was like dirty. It was
Yeah,
like,
in your face, but he made it so, sexual to the point where even the girls were like, yeah. Nobody got disgusted. Everybody was just like, yeah. And I go up there like, yeah, I got dick jokes. Dick.
Like reading a romance novel.
Yeah. So, but
Yeah.
we fed off each other really well because I would clown and how I had no game. And he over here doing this. And they were cracking up. And he's like, oh, that's cool, man. And you were right after me. And he always set it up that way. But that was when everything was like, just everybody would support each other, dog.
Yeah.
Whether it was poetry, musicians. And I guess because it was such a closed space. I think it's also
that's part of it, yeah. So first of all, man, Black Orchid, that was a spot a lot of people did start and kind of like cut their teeth a little bit on the mic, on the stage. Shout out to Juan and Michelle, you know, they unfortunately, like during the pandemic, they just kind of run to the spot where I think it was more beneficial to close.
Yeah.
They were actually like doing repair, like they were fixing stuff up at some point. So we were looking forward to doing that, but we hit some magic at Black Orchid, and part of it is the space that it was kind of small enough.
Yeah.
And also it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, like trying just like as an MC, making people feel comfortable, but also like it's not just my show, it's our show. Getting people into that mindset that way, so like someone would kind of show up not really for that. People would like monitor the spot. They're like, hey guys, we're trying to listen, you know.
Yeah.
So it was more manageable.
Yeah.
It is kind of harder at some of the bars because especially a bar, man, people are gonna go and drink.
Yeah, but certain bars have that distance now. It's
So-
hard to talk to somebody way in the back.
The shotgun bars that we're doing a lot of stuff now, and that's tough too because I don't think people realize how sound travels in those spots.
Right.
Like you could be one in the bar and like just having normal, it travels down to the other end.
Yeah.
But
Real quick, just so I know, what exactly is slam poetry?
yeah, so it's interesting.
Yeah.
So slam poetry, actually reverse it. It comes from poetry slam, which is an actual type of event. And it's an event that it's specifically where people will sign up and read their poetry, but it's like a contest almost. So poetry slam is about kind of like the guidelines and the rules for that type of contest.
What's the?
And so the way it works is you have 3 or 4 judges that you pick in the crowd that are supposed to be random, not really affiliated with any of the poets. And they have like a whiteboard. And kind of like the Olympics, after everyone performs, they get a score from 0 to 10. They hold up the boards. So the MC, you know, is like, all right, that was David. Everyone, judges, lock down your scores. And as the MC, you're trying to get like the audience like super into like, audience, you got to sway the judges, you know, judges, don't be swayed by the audience, you know, get people like hyped up.
Yeah.
And then you're like, all right, let's see your scores, 3, 2, 1. And then, so then you kind of tabulate all the scores. You drop the highest and drop the lowest, kind of do like and then you tabulate up and whoever gets the most points goes on to the next round, you know, and people are eliminated little by little till eventually there's like a top 3. So the idea is to just promote poetry in like
So
in a
essentially,
bar.
it's still just poetry.
It's still poetry, yeah.
Oh,
And so, but it did kind of develop as a subgenre because in poetry slam, your poems are supposed to be like no longer than 3 minutes. Like that's the max, you know. Because it kind of fits like the pop song method, you know. You don't have too many songs that are going on, like just something that's digestible, you know. And so there's the other things like you can't use props, you know. You got to use your own voice or even your body, because sometimes people will like I don't know, like snap or something or clap or sing. But yeah, poetry slam or slam poetry kind of comes off of that, and even to the point where it's like there's a cliche, there's a stereotype. Just how like when it comes to comedy, everyone thinks of like, what's the deal with airplane food, right? Like it's kind of like it's people tunnel vision into that kind of thing, right? But it's just another form of poetry for the stage. You know, it's performative, yeah.
I thought it was like roast poetry or something.
That exists too.
Yeah, I'm sure
it can be.
does.
It can be.
But
But most of the time, like I would say, when people do slam poetry or poetry slam, it's they're speaking on a current topic, a relevant topic, or it's even, what we would call biographical.
And there's like a little shit talk in there. There's some spice.
It depends. I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess because it's a competition.
Yeah.
Sometimes you probably have people who always go head to head. And
Oh,
so
that
like
sounds fun.
maybe it comes up,
Yeah.
but it isn't necessarily battle oriented in that way. It's just more
okay.
so people are talking about their own stuff, and
Oh, okay.
it's
You do like slam comedy.
slam comedy.
I mean, we got
Comedy
roast
slam.
battles. Isn't that kind of like
Roast
that?
I
battles.
guess, but it'd be better if it was more judged on the joke instead of just insulting the other person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We had to go up there with a set, and then you just get random people from the crowd to judge your shit that have nothing to do with the
So yeah,
comedy and shit.
you would tell
It'd be
people
cool.
to judge based on like originality, like emotional impact, like the actual performance of it. Like so,
Yeah, that'd be
that's
fucking
why in
cool.
poetry slam, a lot of people memorize their pieces. So it's more like almost like theater. Like, and you're looking at people in the crowd and you're moving around. It's very. One of the reasons why there is the cliche like poetry slam kind of like the voice
Yeah.
is because it's theatrical. It's like kind of projecting a little louder than you might,
Yeah.
and like in a normal reading where you're just kind of reading off the mic and maybe off of page. Yeah.
See,
And
comedy
so
and poetry is kind of similar.
in some ways,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like with comedy though, it's so much crowd based in terms of like I've seen so many people live and die by the crowd or lack of crowd reaction.
Yeah. sometimes
Yeah.
it
And
does.
it's more live. I think it's more live because you could read the same poem at a venue like every time. People are like, yeah, but you go to different venue, it's gonna be different every time the way people
That's
react
facts.
to your jokes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll hit a joke and people will be cracking up, yeah, and then you tell the same joke next week at a different venue and crickets, or like.
Yeah, I've been there.
Kind of like a DJ in that sort of sense too.
Interesting.
Because if shit's not popping in one direction,
Gotta change it
you
up.
might have a couple different jokes you could like slide in there.
I'd like to think so, man.
Yeah.
I think where experience comes in,
Hmm.
because I do see a lot of the same people like just bust out the same set even if it's not working,
Yeah, I mean,
Like-
there's something with that too because you gotta.
Yeah, I gotta admit,
yeah.
because you've been doing it so long, I know he's probably heard certain comedians do the same joke over and over. And he's just like this. You can recite it like this, and he's gonna say this, and then he's gonna say that.
Just do that, yeah.
It's kind of like, here we go.
Even a lot of the ad libs sometimes,
Yeah.
like there's like a little pocket ad libs that you'll throw in depending on how the crowd reacts, or
Yeah.
But that's fine. I more get enjoyment out of like the bartenders who are usually working those venues, and they're tired of it at some point. They're like, but here's the thing though, they don't understand what working a tight five means, or like working on your
Yeah.
sets. So when it does come time to do like a showcase or
Exactly.
feature, you have that tight.
Yeah.
They don't understand that's part of it.
Yeah, it's like you play the same song over and over again too.
Yeah.
Maybe a certain key
Exactly.
changes up everything. So it has to be that same way. But I know sometimes you hear the same joke, you're like,
I understand people are workshopping it,
Yeah, you gotta do
and
it,
and
man.
I do love to see though when I actually do see people like changing it up based on like over time feedback, like try
Yeah.
stuff out. Okay, that doesn't work. Let me try this, and then I do see jokes evolve, like the setup or
Yeah.
more details being added or stuff that's cut out that doesn't work.
Yeah.
I love to see that, for
Yeah,
sure.
man,
Yeah.
You've been orchestrated that for a while. You and Mash kind of have similar attributes because like he does music too. Like he did music. So boy,
Yeah.
it's funny how I surround myself with people that are multi-talented, and I only have one talent. That's just fucking crazy. When I talk to him, he did all this. He DJ'd. He did. I don't like this. What fuck can you not do, bro? Like he's telling me. You know when somebody tell you something about themselves, and
Yeah.
you're sitting there like this. Man, I ain't doing shit with my life.
Can't keep a relationship.
Yeah, it's too real, man.
I wasn't gonna go there with it, but okay.
I have failed on that multiple times.
It's like, hold on, you're talking me up too much. Let's
I'm just being real,
bring it
man.
down to earth.
Stupid.
It's fair.
No, but it's just crazy, and it's like like I said, like I've been around you for, and been fortunate to see how it's like, like I said, I'm not trying to gas you up. I'm just being real with you. Like you control the energy of a room. I know you say you're the MC or everything, but I think everything for you comes naturally. That's what I've noticed. It like it's no,
Interesting.
when somebody's fake being nice, like it's I want to be
yeah.
nice and hopefully I get some out of this. You're not like that.
That's shitty. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not like
man.
that at all. You're just genuinely a nice person. Even when people are rude to you, you kind of still keep your demeanor. I don't know how he does it. Sometimes I can tell. There's only one time I think I've seen you kind of not even mad, but like you seem irritated. One time.
Okay.
It was one time, but I think you were going through a lot and you were like tired and shit. But you were still like, "Hey guys, can we listen to everybody? We good? All right, thank you guys." And I was like, he wants to say motherfucker so bad, but he's not saying it. You're like this, nah, you guys, thank you guys, appreciate it. I was like, I'm gonna get him a drink, and I got you a drink and shit. I remember that, dog. You really chill.
Oh, thanks, man.
So I always remember that, man.
Well, also doing open mics at like these bars, to me the other goal is to like keep people around and buying drinks and supporting the venue, and so like part of it is that too, like keeping the peace.
Yeah, man.
And if you can like, most of the time, arguments or that's petty. People are petty about the dumbest shit.
Yeah.
So a lot of times just like talking it over or just not caring about it and letting it slide away, and it just cool, we'll just do this thing, and the most peace we're at, people have a good time at a spot, and I think that's key to keep people coming back as well.
Yeah, man.
Artists be sensitive, man.
Yeah, they do, man.
Oh, absolutely.
You
Yeah.
might think you said something wrong, and then all of a sudden you start hearing all this shit talk from other people. You're like,
Yeah,
what the fuck?
man.
I've seen all sorts of people lose it on stage too, like,
Yeah, it happens, man.
or just outside of too,
But I always dig you musicians. Because I always say this, women always love the fingers. Dog.
That's you. Yeah, that's one of your go-to
That's
lines, man.
it's facts.
I love it. Yeah.
It's facts. Because as soon as I'm telling a joke, whatever, I'm funny or whatever. But as soon as somebody, I have my guitar and I'm gonna play a song. Oh my god, and everybody's, and dude's just like flowers.
But what about when they're up there and they're like telling jokes in between their sets and everyone's like cracking up? How do you?
Yeah, I'm like this mother. It's bad enough you can sing. Now you telling jokes, bitch.
That's how I got into comedy.
Man, you're one of
I
those
had
guys.
an indie rock band that was taking off
Yeah.
for a while, and
Nice.
we had an electronic component to it. So when we switched tracks, he'd have to load up shit.
Yeah.
So instead of getting silence, I would just have to go and talk to the crowd, and I would just... Dude, my routine was the same every fucking time. It was so stupid.
Yeah.
I would just tell them what I had for lunch, and for some reason they would always laugh at that. That's probably how I was doing it.
It's a non sequitur, It's just like
Some normal
It's
shit.
like,
I tell
that's
them what I
funny.
had for lunch. They'd be like, he had a McChicken, yeah.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like if guys like you, like guys like multi-talented like that, and you as comedians, it's bad enough. Even if the guy or the person looks good, then they do music and then they're doing jokes. I'm like, fuck you,
It's not fair.
fuck you, bro. It's bad enough. It's hard for me in these streets. Now you look good, you're perfect chiseled chin, and you're gonna sit there and play a song and then tell jokes. There's no point of me being here at this point. Like,
Nah, but this is different though, because when you tell a joke, you fucking destroy that shit, and it's like, I'm gonna keep my jokes tucked over here.
Yeah, but the musician can always be like, he has that multi-talent where he's like, regardless of anything, I'm gonna get laid after this. You know what I'm saying? A good-looking musician can be like this, knock, knock, who's there? Me. Oh my God, he's there.
But part of it is, it's the unexpected part of it, Like if you're going up there specifically to tell jokes, there's already more scrutiny, right? People are gonna be there to like pick apart every little thing. But
true.
if they're there playing music and they just throw like again a non sequitur, a little thing that
Yeah.
like, like it's interesting the different approaches there on the
right.
stage. Yeah.
I was gonna ask you how many talented people have you seen? Like, is anybody? Because there's a lot of musicians and stuff that go through there, and then sometimes I won't see them anymore. So I'm thinking they either like moved on to something or popped off or something. Because I see a lot of young kids. It's like young, old. There's no demographic at your mics. Like everybody's there.
Yeah.
But some of these, I'm like, dude, that's a banger. Like they have a song they made, and I'm like, dude. But they come with their clique, so I can't tell them. I try to go up to them, but they're busy and they take off. Some people take off right away. But I'm like, dog, you didn't put that out because that song right there is gonna. That's a heater, but I can't get to them,
Yeah.
But
You talk about some of the young kids. I'm visualizing some of the guys.
because they come with there with the raps and stuff,
Yeah,
and chilling, and like you go back to when I was that age, and I'm just looking like, I know where he's coming from. They're nervous. You can see how nervous they are.
Yeah.
Like they're just nervous. They act like it's a real concert. Like keep that vibe, keep that hunger, keep that energy, because you need that when you move on, and don't lose that. Cause you can tell they're like nervous. They can be like 3 people, but they're performing and then bring their friends and shit.
Do you remember your first showcase? What was your first showcase?
Oh, it was at like an Italian bar or something like that. Italian restaurant.
Okay.
And I was so nervous. I was pacing back and forth, kind of the same way. And I was older then, but I was just like, but performing, you know how it is. Like we all been on stage, that nerves, but it's not a bad nervous. You don't get like, you're not scared, but I don't know how to describe it.
It's an energy.
Yeah, it's an energy that comes over you. Like, you know, I'm gonna have to go up here, and then like, but I was nervous. My armpits are sweating, dog. When I get nervous, my armpits really sweat. I can't wear anything gray or anything. It's obvious that I'm nervous, and and you go up there and like fuck. But now I'm more tame with it.
My first show with the indie rock band was at an Italian restaurant.
Really?
Yeah,
dog.
that's why I was like, oh shit.
Dude, it's like that.
Yes.
And you're nervous, and people are just eating their food and looking at you like.
Yeah, oh, it's interesting. You hear like the plates being scraped
Yeah,
with forks, you know, and like all that.
You don't want to mess with
Shuffling
nobody's
around.
ravioli dip plate and stuff, but yeah, it was a good vibe, bro. It was an older crowd. It was on the west side of El Paso, so it was an older crowd, and I knew then, okay, I want to be able to appease to everybody, not how you say, close myself off or cut myself short, but I was like, I can bring everybody into my world and let myself be heard, but not being too R-rated. You know what I'm saying? Unless that's, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can be like, you got to be kind of universal when it comes to anything.
Well, yeah. I mean, anytime you're on stage, you have to build a relationship with the crowd, and the part of that's like trying to pick up on what's working and not working, and how you adjust to it, because it's like a conversation almost.
Yeah.
Right. And when you don't do that, that's when you lose crowds, you know, or like you're not paying attention to like, oh, this type of humor is not going to work tonight. Let me switch it up. Like try and stiff arm through your set. That's how you have people walk out, you know, in situations. Or, I've seen that happen a lot.
I think you just gotta, with anything, music, poetry, you have to feel the energy in the room, dog. I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything. I can read energy, dog. I'm weird like that, and I can read negative energy as well.
I've been thinking more about this, about the Thursday night mic, the mic I host.
Yeah. How's it going, La Bang Bang?
It's going great. The crowds have been fucking awesome lately. And it's more like what I'm thinking about is like, because you get the same people fucking like signing up for like, you know, 1 through 5, right? Like, especially
so yeah,
and they're like, as far as talent, they need work. So they end up walking people, and then they change the fucking mood. Like, I open it, get them hype.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, they're just fucking eating a dick. And I'm just like,
But he knows how it is, because sometimes you just gotta go by the list and stuff.
Yeah, so that's why I was kind of thinking maybe like catering a little bit more.
So
like,
I do have on my list subject to change up there.
I like that.
And at Black Orchid, I would do this a lot.
Yeah.
I would subtly switch people around in order to like maneuver. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna name names, but there's a performer who kind of brings the crowd down a little bit, or like tends to walk people. I'll try and like follow it right up with like, here's someone who's gonna like bring them back in, or. You know, and
I need to do that.
There's a little bit of navigating around that.
Right.
But I do have on every single list. I have that. Sometimes people like are very, very like, wait a minute, that's not the order that we had it in. And I've tried to do it more so lately, like just going down. But Black Orchid days, I felt like I had to, since we had such a smaller space, you know. And I told people too, like, hey, I'm gonna bring this person up or whatever.
No, you did good, bro. You did really good. I remember you had you always do the comedy block. So he would do the comedy block, which was really fucking cool. He's like this. And everybody know, I have comedians coming up and do a change of pace right now. I'm having a comedy block. So he had like 3 comedians, then he'll go back to music, or then a poetry block.
Yeah.
Like it was just bop, 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 bop. So everybody get into the field. But you always announce it. It wasn't like, well, you were like, hey, let everybody know.
Yeah.
It's going to change. And it was just the way his
Is that something you eventually just had to do?
Kind of. I mean, well, look, running a mixed mic, you can change at a breakneck speed, you know? Yeah. Where, like, someone's telling a very, like, personal, tragic story of abuse in a poetry, and then the next guy goes and starts talking about dicks, you know? Like, it's like, what a tonal shift, you know? Like, so it's just, It does help to block it out. Yeah, I like I said, reading energy. It's like, all right, maybe if I just do these little things, gives people an opportunity to like reset a little bit.
Yeah.
And get ready. And I always like using music as a palate cleanser either way.
Oh, dude.
Throw music in between. And then again, I would know the musicians who would be really good at it. And,
Yeah.
He did good because he would have, even doing his mics, he'd have a featured artist.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember you did that because you would have like comedy block, poetry block, and then we have like a 20-minute soul of a band, and it would just play for like 20-something minutes.
Yeah.
And then sometimes they were so good, the crowd would be like, no, one more.
Always, right?
And they would ask Richie like, no, go ahead, man. They're vibing with you. Play one more song. Or you're like, you guys want one more? And they're like, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I would just set the mood. And you did really good with that, bro. You're a good orchestrator.
That's cool.
Of the energy, so you kind of controlled it.
Yeah, I don't do that as much just because we started getting so many people just at the mic,
Yeah,
We'd
man.
have like 18 to 20 people signing up.
I remember that. You had to
So-
get his mics early, bro. I would get his mics early. Cause one time I went late and I was all like, dude, it was like 20 something. I was like,
yeah.
and I had to leave somewhere. That's one thing you were nice about. You were like, I said, I gotta hit up another mic. And Richie was so nice with the comics. He'd be like this, oh, you gotta go, all right, I'll bump you up. So he'll bump me up so I can go hit up another mic. I've always showed gratitude for that, man. You did
Cool, man.
awesome. Like, it's like, you knew, Anthony, all of you guys gotta go to another mic? All right.
Yeah.
And we would take off and hit up the mic.
Damn.
That was fun hitting 2 mics in one night. I miss those nights, dog. You had to, and
Yeah.
then be on the other side of town. Like, we go to the Black Orchard on the west side, and only go to the east side. The thing is, the energy was so good there. Then the other mic is like fucking 2 mother people, and you're like,
You ever produce showcases too?
Yeah. I mean, in different ways. Yeah. I mean, I've like the kind of maybe like I said, the jazz and poetry nights at International. I've kind of like selected a couple poets to come perform with me.
Cool.
We've maybe not a showcase and like you do it like maybe in the comedy scene, but I've also organized book releases.
yeah.
Like,
Oh, nice.
People publish their books, so like we'll have like them read from it, and then we'll send it around like 2 or 3 other like feature poets. Those are rare, but
Is it hard to
those are
publish
nice.
books? How hard is that?
Self-publishing is a lot easier these days,
Yeah.
and it's a viable option for a lot of people. With that said, it still costs a little bit of money.
Yeah, of course.
You got to invest a bit in it. Traditional publishing's still around, but it's not a booming industry.
Right.
So I think it is a little bit easier to get published these days, but it's still a bit of effort that I think people aren't gonna just be doing it all the time. So it's fun to celebrate when someone gets their work into
Yeah.
print.
Oh,
We
yeah.
can celebrate the book and hopefully have them sell some copies. I'm gonna be emceeing. Old Sheepdog is doing a big book and brew event, like a book event where they're gonna have vendors, books, local authors, guest speakers. Yeah, they asked me to MC it. It's gonna be at the end of June, I think.
Cool.
Cool, man. I'm gonna give props to Old Sheepdog because they really put comics on as well.
Yeah.
They did a really good job having shows there, man. And the owner's real cool. So
Yeah.
They still have shows there?
very rarely they don't do it as much as they were.
Well, I think they had this little like garage area that they would use for those shows.
Yeah.
I don't think they don't have access to it like they used to.
Oh.
So I think that's probably harder. But they definitely did work a lot with
Yeah.
some of the younger promoters and newer promoters in town, or even like people coming through. Like if there was
Yeah.
like a guest, they would like try and set up a show.
They would do that. They had what's her face, and I'm not talking ill of her. I love her, but they had Ivy.
Oh, it was her birthday show.
Her birthday show, dog. And she had me go up there, and they gave her a spot,
Yeah.
and it was very unique. Cause Ivy, one thing I love about Ivy, she's so, what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
So she'll never sell you short. You can say whatever you want about her, but she's like this. This is what I am. This is my life. This is what I've done. She's unfiltered. That's why I respect her a lot. Because she's not. Because some people try to like, they're full of shit most of the time.
Yeah.
She's not. She just go like, this is what I did, and she doesn't hold anything back.
Yeah.
And that's why I respect her a lot.
I appreciate that too, man. When
Yeah.
people like, that's part of like I said, I was listening to Adam's episode that you guys had, and we were talking about how his stories are so authentic. They're from his life, and his
Yeah.
the hijinks of like being in the bars and like in that scene, and
Yeah.
it works so well. You can tell that's him. Your stories, man, of working the sex shop, like
Yeah.
there's these. unique things to, like, it just comes through authentically on the crown and it works.
Yeah.
Whereas you probably have people just kind of like repeating the same old like tropes and scenarios maybe in their sets, especially if they're starting an open mic, right? You kind of see the same kind of stuff show up content wise.
Yeah.
So it's just about sharing those authentic stories, which I do appreciate about Ivy as well.
Yeah, definitely, man. And like
A bunch of peeps.
that's what I think the poetry is as well. Like people just, and sometimes it's tragic, but at least it's a place to like vent and like let it out. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes I'm like, some of the poetry, I'm like, damn, like you can tell some of the people like it's something really happened in their life. They're just letting that out.
Oh yeah.
And then this one dude, it was at Rosewood. It was the older guy. I guess
Shit.
he went through a breakup or some shit, and he just had. But it was so, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about.
He's like, yo.
He was, yeah.
He was went out. He's like, this bitch. Yeah. I was like this. Everybody was like,
Damn.
he was like, and I hope this happens. But this you never appreciated me. I was like this. This guy's gonna win a fucking Nobel Peace Prize. This guy's spitting bars up here. Everybody went through a breakup was all like, yeah.
Bars at the bars.
Spitting bars, bro. I was like,
Isn't that what we do art to like find connection, you know?
Hell
like,
yeah, bro.
Not just vent, but like you find that universal thing that pulls us together.
Yeah.
People at that bar have felt that like
yes.
that emotion before. And
Yeah, and it's a nice setup there,
Support.
Rosewood, dog, and it's just like, and when you control the atmosphere, if you really get into it and really, because I like all art forms, I really appreciate that shit. If you just sit back and go, you appreciate it more. That's one thing about the BWOMS mics that I like. You get all forms of art, whether you think it's popping or not. The point of it is that they're out there, they're doing it, they're expressing themselves. That's what I love about it. You can say whatever you want, but it's like this. At least it's some form of expression. They can go up to a stage and be like, I can just let this out. Because you don't want to keep stuff in, man. It's really bad to do that shit. It'll eat you up inside. So it's like, you need a...
I think if you're open to it, you'll have a much better time.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, dog,
One
you
of
got
my favorite one of my favorite aphorisms is the usefulness of a cup is its emptiness. I don't know if
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I read that from Bruce Lee, actually, who studied philosophy.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of his philosophy was trying to bridge like Eastern philosophy with like some of the Western stuff, and that comes from like a Zen parable. I don't know if you guys. It's about this guy who a Western scholar who wanted to learn everything about the world. You know, very Faustian in a way, minus the deal, right?
Yeah.
And he would like try and learn about every little thing in the world, like as much as he could. And when he wanted to learn about Zen, he took him on his travels to like find a Zen master. When he finds one, you know, some secluded mountaintop, you know, he wants to ask him about Zen. And so they sit down and have tea, and the Zen master's trying to tell him. And every time he stops, the professor or the scholar would stop and like interrupt him. It's like, oh, we have that. And he'd always start to add his own input. And so after a while, you know, you can tell that this isn't really going anywhere. So the Zen master just stops talking and he pours him more tea. But he doesn't stop pouring, and he keeps pouring till the cup starts to overflow, right? And the guy's like, stop, can't you see it's overflowing? And so the Zen master's lesson there is like, yes, how can you enjoy my tea if you haven't first emptied your cup, right? Like, you know, like he's not willing to learn or experience it because he already has his own mindset,
right,
and preconceived notions and way he's gonna feel about something, so he can't really bring it in. That's why the usefulness of a cup is its emptiness.
It's deep.
Yeah.
So basically, homeboy was a Nico. I'm sorry. I had to do.
Is that I don't really. I'm outside of the scene.
This is between us.
I know that's what I'm talking
about. I had to talk. Let me co-signer. I had to do it.
It did make me think of something though. Like, you know what remote viewing is?
In what context?
In like, you know, conspiracy magic shit, I guess, or where they kind of like you're able to remote view anything in the world, and even time and place too.
Whoa, okay.
And then, so when they were doing this training, I read this book about this shit, and they had this way they would get people to do it, which is what they do now when they have people remote view.
Yeah.
Okay.
They say empty your rice bowl.
Okay.
Yeah, so the idea was that you picture yourself in a movie theater.
Okay.
And then you picture a rice bowl in front of you, but it has to be empty. So, to free your mind from clutter and shit like that.
Okay.
Same thing, so you don't have any preconceived thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you get it empty, you look at the screen in the movie theater. Yeah, and then whatever you're seeing, that's what you write down.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And you go in there with the intention of like, they might give you coordinates or something like latitude, longitude. And then you kind of look at those and think about that. Empty your rice bowl. Once it's empty, look at the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good metaphor that I mean, metaphors help us in everyday life, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So that definitely helps the idea of just clearing our mind and like just trying to like be present. And I think that's part of it.
Yeah,
in the
being
moment.
present is the
experience.
shit,
Yeah. Or like awareness. You know?
yeah.
I totally agree because presence is what basically you showing up is pretty much 100% or 90% or whatever.
And not
whatever
coming
you
with
do.
any preconceived shit. Just being open to like, all right, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Cool. So remote viewing. So at first I was thinking like astral projection, like when you mentioned
Kind of like that.
Yeah, it feels like it. Because also in like IT, right? I think remote viewing is like you can take over someone's laptop and like see what's going on. So that's why I was like, what context? Yeah. But yeah, interesting.
So being a voyeur then.
I mean, I never thought of that, but dude, they could potentially be doing that shit, right?
Damn.
Like, that's a Big Tom shit, like on a whole
Yeah,
nother
no.
fucking level.
I'm behind these bushes, but I'm remote viewing.
Salma Hayek. Empty my rice bowl.
See, but then that's the irony, right? You're not clearing your mind, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's stupid.
Can't do it. How's the scene? So since I haven't been able to do as much, like we were kind of talking about it a little bit before,
Yeah.
like right now there's two regular mics Thursdays, Fridays, then?
Yeah, 2 mics.
Okay.
I mean, I wish there was more.
I mean, at one
They
point,
tried to do a Wednesday too, right? Jerry's
yeah,
thing or something.
yeah, there's a Wednesday
yeah,
mic
you said
too.
that.
So
Okay.
it's
Going into Monday every other Monday.
with La Bang Bang, right? Again.
Monday is High Times. Yeah, actually, like.
Oh yeah.
oh yeah.
Henny does
It's
that.
Henny's mic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she does that. So yeah, it's a couple of spots.
Are there still like factions and stuff? Like every time I look at the comedy scene, man, there's cliques and then there's like little
think-
battle. Like
Yeah,
it was kind of entertaining.
It used to be like that. Yeah,
Experiencing it through Facebook, everyone
you-
getting into Facebook fights on the pages, like,
yeah. You saw all the shit talking.
dude, yeah, it was
You know what's
crazy.
funny? That comes up like every episode.
Does it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Richie's been through all of it.
I've seen it firsthand.
Yeah, he was all the bad boy death row days of comedy where everybody's clicked up and there was like Bloods and Crips. Don't come over to my mic. You gonna have a problem, man.
Yeah, man.
I gave him the light at 3 minutes. Yeah.
It was turf warfare. Like, damn, he ran the light on purpose.
Yeah, it was like that, Joe. I'm gonna see you, bro. Gave my man a light. Yeah, I gave him a light.
I feel like it's not as bad as like you were saying those days. Like people would be like weird if you went to some other person's mic or.
Yeah, they would talk. Yeah, it was weird, bro. It was weird. You're like, you what? You doing his showcase? You can't be on his stage, man. We got beef. I'm like, y'all got beef.
Yeah,
I ain't got nothing to do with that. No, man. It was always something stupid, dog. It was always dumb. If you go back, the stuff we argued about was so fucking stupid, dog. It was just dumb. You don't sit there and take over my mic. I'm like this. It's a bar that everybody goes to, bitch. Anybody can be there. What the fuck you mean you're a mic? I've seen it in other scenes too. They're like outside arguing in the street about a mic, and the owner's like, y'all need to get the fuck out of here. Like,
That's funny.
I got customers here. You guys are arguing over the mic. Matter of fact, I'm cutting off both y'all off. See what you did? You could.
Nobody's mic now.
There's nobody's mic now. It's like, dude, it's the person that owns the venue is the one that gives people the mic. You don't own shit in there. It's like when you first start a job, when you were young, and you were in a job and you were like a retailer of a store, and somebody piss you off, and you're like, hey, get out of my store. And then you realize when you get older, you didn't own none of that shit. That store wasn't yours, bitch. They fired you the next week. None of that shit was yours. So why'd you build yourself up for them when they let you go anyway? So what's the fucking point? It's little shit like that where I'm like, now that I look at it, we were so immature, but then some of the comedians, I love them, but some of them like, you too old for this shit, bro. Some of y'all like are too old for this beef shit. I'm like, how old are you? I don't fuck? You got kids, motherfucker. Some of y'all got grandkids. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? Y'all good?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like, the scene is different now. Like everything's kind of.
I see.
Calm.
I see a lot more people trying to produce shows, which is cool. Like, you want to enable that. I think. You know, like
everybody's
that's how you
controlling
grow.
their own destiny, as they say. They're not like
You have to.
You have to. Nobody's relying on somebody else. You can't sit there. Honestly, you can't. Anything in life, man. I can't wait for somebody to put me on.
Yeah. Oh man.
Sit there like this.
Well,
it's gonna happen one day.
You're just gonna be bitter. Yeah.
That's
bitter.
That describes the older scene.
Yeah, be a bitter. I don't want
Jaded, bitter.
Yeah, I don't want to be an old jaded, bitter bitch walking around pissed off. I've seen them. I've run into them from time to time. I'm like this. You're bitter and you have a small penis. That's not nobody's fault but yours. Don't get mad at the whole world. Don't get mad at the whole world. It's you, buddy. That's just you, Brian. Yeah. And then you go and eat a dick more, and then you go, man, I ate a bigger dick than I have. That's fucked up. That's your fault. Get better, motherfucker.
Get better every week.
That's
eating
it.
The same dick.
Yeah, don't get mad at everybody else.
And complaining about it.
Yeah, don't get mad because everybody's doing shit. Like you can't like
eat up, dick buffet.
Exactly. It doesn't make any sense to me. But we're gonna talk about it. Because Richie, we gotta talk about it. We're gonna bring it up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm gonna bring up? I gotta talk about it, bro. What happened between the comics and the poets, man?
Yeah.
What in general? Because
I think, first of all, I think that it's mythologized in a way that's
okay. I want to hear this.
Kind of blown out of proportion.
I want to hear.
Where like it was a self-fulfilling thing. Where like, I don't think the beef was bad. There's a few people who did not like, but what happened is there's this idea that I kicked off all the comedy.
I didn't know. I just heard like it was something happened where like, all right, this is what I heard from.
What have you heard? Okay, that's a good.
This is
that's
what
a good
I
starting
heard.
point.
I heard that some of the artists that were at the BWOMS were more upset at the comedians, not because of the jokes or anything, because they weren't supportive as they were to them.
So that's a huge aspect of it, and you kind of talked about it's harder to mic, but a lot of the newer scene, because I guess it's better to even just compare because we talked about already the Black Orchid Lounge.
Yeah,
I think at that time, everyone was going out. Would hang around and listen to other people and support a little bit and interact with each other.
Yeah.
I mean, I always think back to like even Ivan, who like.
Oh, God bless.
R.I.P. But he would like bridge a lot, because he'd always make an effort to like talk to everyone, and befriend them, and he even like would sign up and try and read some poetry or something, and there was an effort, being downtown at our spots now, there was a scene where it was a lot of the younger guys on the scene who were doing their own, which is cool. They're doing their own stuff, but like no one would stick around. It's the same thing. Someone would perform, boom, bounce, and it became a cliche where it's like no one would even like, the comedians would be out there having a cigarette, wait for their turn, perform, and then leave, boom. Sometimes sneak it up and leave. Which is always a tough thing to leave, like to deal with.
Okay.
So I think there was not as much cohesion. It made it really tough to like make those rooms feel like everyone was in here together to like support and like
I got you.
perform. And so it's like, damn, I was always kind of dealing with that. But
okay.
Anyway, I still have comedy at Mona.
Yeah, you do.
I've never stopped it.
I appreciate that.
We did have these awkward moments stuck. So what I wanted to do was, because we were at Rosewood, I wanted to switch it up a little, change it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was awkward where Mona would book a show or something on, so we'd have to move to Rosewood. So I think it confused people about like what was what, So now I'm trying to keep it straight, like bounce around. This is this is that. Mona's full on anything.
Yeah.
We want comedy. And here's the thing though, we stopped doing it at a couple other spots because we just, at the time, a lot of people were doing mics. So I'm like, oh, I think it's fine, you know?
Yeah.
Because I think, I mean, I'm just thinking, you know, regardless of how you feel about them, I saw all sorts of people trying to like do showcases, open mics, you know? And so I'm like, okay, well, we're going to do a couple like that. And Mona will be our Tuesday where anyone can show up if you want to do some comments. Especially, I never want to close it off to people who want to try it for the first time. That's the whole point of it, you know?
Yeah,
Of an
exactly.
open mic is like,
Yeah.
I want to cut my teeth. I want to try. People always tell me I'm funny. Let me try it on the mic, you know?
Yeah.
They always get those. And I never want to close off that avenue. But I think when I stopped doing it at other shows, people like reacted like, oh, they banned comedy at all the shows, and people, you know, people are, you know,
Yeah,
it just like got misconstructed. But anyway, I just didn't feel any of the love, support for it, you know. So
I feel look, and to the credit
Yeah.
as comedians, I'm gonna be real with you. This is what comedians mostly do. They try to work out this stuff. Maybe they have busy doing something else.
Yeah.
And then they go out. Basically, what they do is they smoking weed. So
Yeah.
everybody just goes, hey, you want to smoke? And that's why they leave in groups to go outside. They don't.
Yeah.
It's not because they want to be supportive. It's just that everybody's getting high and whatever, and then they get so high they forget that they got to go inside and support other people. Like, well, I'm hungry now, so let's go get some cookies or some shit, and they never come back. That's most of some of them.
Yeah.
Some of them are like, so to their credit, they do it at open mics, but it's just comedy.
yeah,
They'll go outside. You'll be up there. All the comics will be outside shooting the shit. You'll be in there with the bartender and maybe the janitor telling a joke, and they're all outside getting high or talking shit.
Yeah.
And it's just naturally what they do. It's not because on their behalf. Some of them are not like that. It's just that's the mindset that we do at the mic. So I don't want any other artists that go like the poetry people and the musicians think that we're just, you know, some of us are just not being supportive. Now,
Yeah.
there might be some like that, but for the most part, the comics that I know, they just want to shoot the shit. And honestly, if you look at some of us, we hang around each other so much.
Yeah.
It's kind of a family thing. Same
Yeah.
thing as other mics. Like,
Yeah.
I have more friends. If I take the comics away, I'm gonna just have me, one friend, and my dog. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah.
Same.
So it's
I don't even know
like
if I'd have that.
some people need that. You know, they
Yeah.
need that.
It's good to have that.
And that's one thing about the
So,
mics.
and I think one thing that worked in people's, not my perception, because same thing. The people I know, like I get that.
Yeah.
You know, people will see all the infighting too.
Oh, okay,
And
that
so
did.
people will say like, they don't even support each other.
You know what? Damn, that'll do it. I can't speak to that. That'll do it. That'll do it. Because you see all this stuff. Because occasionally it's some.
Yeah.
That's what when I see it.
So
on,
see, okay, you mentioned.
Yeah.
Nico posted the other, like sometime. Like,
Yeah,
what,
where that
what the
did
hell,
it.
man?
Oh, that comment?
Yeah. I mean, because people see that. So
Yeah.
I'm telling like, dude, whatever issues you guys have, just hash it out between each other.
Yeah.
But once you put online like
Public
that,
spectacle. Yeah.
yeah, it's everybody's just sitting there like, okay. And the whole now it's good to know it's not only the comedic scene. Everybody else is seeing that going
it's the
like
perception.
yeah.
I
Which
mean,
isn't
I would
even the
never
truth.
do it, but I really enjoy looking at that shit.
Oh yeah.
It's entertaining as
Yeah.
hell. But,
I'm like, don't stop.
Yeah, it's just like,
I mean, there've been attempts, you know, and I love to see when there's solidarity, you know. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
One time I did go to La Bang Bang early, and I saw like some peeps I hadn't seen in a while, you know, like Jonathan. And,
Guzman.
Guzman, yeah.
Yeah,
He used to
he's
go Black
funny.
Bear all the time. He's hilarious, man. I love his set a lot.
Dude,
You know, and,
beast mode right now from
Yeah.
when he started.
yeah.
Yeah, he's beast mode. So it's just good to see gradually. It's just good. I just want to clear the air on that part.
Yeah,
Because I think
which
everybody
is
was
why when I first started talking about it, I was like, I think a lot of it's overblown and like
Yeah.
misunderstandings and whatever.
Yeah, and I
that.
know, and I know, probably you see some comics and you're like, yeah, one day is good.
It's pretty fun to hear about that stuff.
It is though, man.
I think that before all that too, though, like I was talking about like this idea of a division between poets and comedians. I think that this idea of poets became a scapegoat when like no one would laugh in the crowd.
Yeah.
And it became, to me, it was a little funny because I'm like, there aren't any more poets here. What are you guys talking? Because like some people stop going to the mics in general just because like I don't want to. It's late during the week, you know. Family. A lot of people have family.
Well, let's be real though. Let's keep it 100. A lot of them are like this. I don't want to hear say this name Dick joke over and over. Because some comics say a dick joke.
Well, I
over and
have had people tell me that. I
yeah,
don't
it's
go
be real,
anymore.
that's real. And then
Which
like,
is,
and let's be real. Also, keep it a buck. Sometimes with the poetry, I get because there's a lot of emotion going in there.
Yeah.
Somebody being truthful, and comics, and some of them are dark comics, dark comedy. So you sitting there talking all this stuff, and they follow each other. They hear it, then they feed off that right away. I've seen.
It's
stuff.
a clash.
It's a clash.
There's a clash.
Where like this happened to me, and this and this and this. And then the comics like, yo, blah, 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 what's her face, blah, 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 got and then you guys fucking did, and then it's right there. It starts right there, dog.
I think for like a comic, you know, having a dick joke, which is super like fucking common, a poet's fucking dick joke is trauma from their father. Like over.
A lot of
single one.
A lot of it is trying to navigate, which a lot of comedy is too.
Yeah, of course.
Trying to
of course, this is what it is.
Negotiate in a different way, you know, through humor.
Yeah.
But I do remember specifically sometimes at Black Orchid, like there'd be comics saying like a joke would not land. And be like, oh, you're all poets. And I'm like, no, there's no poet.
Yeah.
Everyone was just.
I already know who he's talking about because in one particular comic, we always get mad at the crowd because they didn't laugh.
You flip the mic.
It did fall. My bad.
No, you good, man. It would.
It was when I moved this year.
Oh, all good.
No, it's all good.
Thanks, man.
He would get upset when the people wouldn't laugh. I know exactly what you're talking about. He'd be like this. Come on, guys. This is.
Oh,
guys,
I think I know who you're talking about.
You don't know what comedy is? Supposed to laugh right here. Everybody's like, well, it wasn't funny.
It needs to be funny.
Well, yeah. Once you start having to tell people, then it's never
right?
works.
Yeah.
But
Counterproductive.
I don't know. Do you think venues, how, like Scenics is around for a while? Unfortunately, they closed. Like, how's it going with Cinco too? Is it all right?
It's pretty good, man. It's starting to get better, man. Like I've only been there a couple of times, but you can tell. Like I think, unfortunately, when it comes to, and I love El Paso.
Yeah.
But when it comes to El Paso and time, two polar opposites. When you put starts at 8 or starts at 9, they go,
nope.
Oh, you mean 10:30?
Yeah.
And you like, and then people show up to the mics. It's other mics. You have to sign up early. The list fills up fast.
Yeah.
People here in El Paso have the convenience of just showing up late, and then they get mad when they're not. What's going on? I'm like, dude, you showed up here.
Yeah.
It starts at 8:39. You're over here at 10:30 talking about, can you bump me up? No, dog. I can't bump you up because you came late.
Yeah.
Dude, they need to try doing a mic in another city, man.
Yeah, you would never get up.
I think that's really good advice. Yeah.
I'm number 35. You're like, you're lucky to be on this fucking list.
Yeah, exactly. And they get all mad like you're supposed to get. I mean, I'm like, dog, you show up on time, at least be. What's going on, man? I'm like, you're late, motherfucker. That's why you're late. They conveniently show up. That's one thing about anything about time. I love El Paso, but you can be like, yo, man, I'm shooting this, and I need you to be here at this time. It's very important. All right, 8:30. All right, 9:30.
There's a spot, the spot I used to do in Seattle a bunch. There's like my favorite jam. If you showed up like 15 minutes past it starting, the list was full already.
Yeah.
It got full in like 5 minutes. Before the shit even started, it was full. And then they would keep like the shit was all laid out all perfectly and shit.
Yeah.
They had a little like open spot at the bottom. They were just like, well, just in case.
In case there's time.
Yeah.
That's the way my list is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But oh man, it's hard. It's definitely hard to produce a show when you have to deal with that.
Yeah. Because some people have egos.
Yeah.
And I understand everybody has an ego, but sometimes I'm like this. You of all people should have a less of an ego. If you're going to her like, you need to, I'm like, sorry, bro, I don't. You know what I'm saying? Be easy. Bro. Like, it's cool. We're trying to accommodate you and stuff, but you ain't got to walk in like you Kim Kardashian on some. You know what I'm saying? Like, just calm down.
Open mic.
It's open mic, bro. Like,
So do you think because a lot of people are doing more showcases now and putting that's like the open mic attitudes changed on that regard? Or?
I'm not gonna say. I don't know, dog. What do you think? I ain't gonna say that.
Yeah.
I think maybe it's just the attitude of different
I feel like the people that are doing that, they're just not getting the opportunities they want or making it happen for
and
themselves.
they've made it happen. Yeah, absolutely.
So they're getting bitter, and then they show up to the mic like, I'm too good for this mic, but I'm gonna do it anyways. So you guys should thank me. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
It's an interesting space.
Yeah.
When you have to make it happen for yourself.
Yeah.
And I've seen some really great results from that.
Yeah, man, because you've been around a lot of talent, dog. You've seen it.
Yeah.
You've seen it. I'm just surprised. Like I said, it's only a matter of time. There's been a lot of artists here that popped off, though.
Yeah.
I can't think of them right now. I know there's some, but and then they just, eventually once they make it, they just kind of, they come back to El Paso, but they leave. You know what I'm saying? Like they leave.
That would be with anybody who makes it anywhere.
Yeah.
You're gonna fucking branch out, because you always hear people talking about this sort of thing too, where it's like they consider those open mic days like some of the glory days.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the camaraderie and all the fucking everybody coming up together.
Yeah.
And then once you start popping off, you're really just traveling all the time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so you end up like linking up with people. Maybe if you're in the same city doing crossover shows.
Yeah.
You're on the same bill.
Yeah, I mean, but in that regard, then it becomes your life, your living.
Yeah.
And versus like maybe just going to the open mic to try some stuff out, on the side.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And for this type of shit, you need the open mic to work your shit out. Yeah. Otherwise, you're not gonna be able to like figure out your jokes.
Yeah.
In your mind, you're gonna be like, yeah, this is the shit.
Yeah.
You gotta eat a dick a bunch.
Yeah.
Yep. I feel there's also a networking aspect to it, like.
Of course.
Right.
Hands down.
Definitely.
Do that.
And honestly, like, whether it comes to jokes, poetry, whatever, you have to feel the energy of people.
Yeah.
That honestly, what's helped me out so much with my jokes is the energy of people.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, and I've changed my jokes, or either on the fly you think of something on the spot when you're talking, and that cultivates, and then that sticks with you, and you carry that on to different other places, and those people giving you that energy made you come up with that off the top of the fly.
Yeah, it's when you're free and open.
Yeah, man.
And that's why the live audience is so crucial to
do it is
stand-up comedy. Yeah.
And that's why I think El Paso a lot. Like El Paso, that's not only built me up as a person, but comedically as well. It's just like the energy from people here. And for the most part, if you surround yourself with good people here, they want to see you do well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody wants to see anybody
Yeah.
fail.
Well, there's some people. There's some people, but for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah. And then one thing about when you get older, and maybe some of the young people are realizing this now, you can control the energy around you. People don't realize that.
I agree.
You don't have to hang out with somebody that's negative all the time. Even if they're a family member or whether you can be like, all right, I can't fuck with you like that. I gotta separate myself from you. People think you don't have to do shit. There's some people I just can't fuck with you because your energy's fucked up. I don't wanna, my time is precious and I don't want my inner fucking soul being damaged by your negative shit.
Yeah, you're not gonna move forward. You're
Yeah,
just gonna be
I have to stay away from you, not because of anything. I wish you well, but just keep your shit over there. I'm over here with mine, bro. And there's some people I can't fake it anymore. But as you get older, you just can't go, I'm gonna fake it instead.
I was just about to say, that's something that comes with age, I think.
Yeah, you can't fake it, bro. It's like this. I know where we stand at. I don't wish you no ill, but just keep your ass over there. We're good. Don't even talk. Don't look my way. We're good. You keep over there, and then I can control the energy around me, man. Or I just be at peace with myself.
You ever heard the term like energy vampires?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit.
Yeah,
They'll
dog.
fucking just suck it out of you.
They will. And I think all of us are at a certain age. It's like certain people are afraid to walk into a room by themselves. Like, the first time you walk into a bar, you were in a different city, you're by yourself, you're like, should I walk into this bar? And some people can't do it, they have to be with somebody. You have to. But some people can go like this, I don't give a fuck what room I walk into, my energy is gonna be present. Nobody's gonna dim that light from me. That's what people have to realize. You can't let anybody just dim your shit.
The only time that shit really bothers me is going to some new venue or something new.
Yeah.
If I'm stoned. If I'm stoned, it's so weird where I'm just like, I can't go in there. I don't know anybody. Fucking weird. I'm just gonna stand in there awkward.
Dude, it's actually more pleasant for me when I'm stoned, dog.
Yeah.
Opposite.
You're
Yeah.
like floating by.
Yeah, I'm just like this. And can you get some cookies? And then I'm just eating cookies, like, and I got fucking chocolate on my face, and I don't care. I'm just like this. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole different vibe when
Yeah,
you're
I'm
like
the
that.
opposite. Yeah, if
Yeah,
I'm
you're
stoned, I
opposite?
can't do it. But if I'm sober, if I'm normal,
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Mine's like, I'm the opposite from that. I have to be like in a good like set. Like, but either way, I walk into a room knowing I don't need to be clicked up. You know, some people need to be clicked up, and I'm like this. Look, I'm walking this room regardless.
Yeah.
Walk in and walk out the same way.
Dude, one time I was visiting San Francisco, and there's this fucking like famous bar that looks like it's in Chinatown. It kind of looks like Big Trouble in Little China, like the fucking movie.
Yep.
Yeah, dude, they got like the dragon statues, and it's for that, that whole thing, right?
Yeah.
So my goal was like, I'm gonna go in here and make some friends.
Okay.
Yeah, so I went in there,
Yeah.
I fucking tried to make friends. I couldn't talk to anybody. I ended up just getting fucking smashed at the bar. I tried to talk to the people next to me, like, oh yeah, that's funny. It didn't work.
You know what? I think probably because you went in there and were like, I'm gonna make friends. You should just be like this. I don't give a fuck. And you just walk in, and I think probably would have worked out better if you just didn't give a fuck about making friends and you just chilled. And then I think the energy would have came around you.
I mean, you're probably right,
Yeah.
but still, it just it wasn't happening.
Yeah, and as
Sometimes
you get
like that.
Yeah, as you get older, when you were younger, you could be like, "Oh man, you playing this video game? Yeah, it's cool, dog." And you come back. As you get older, you can't really make friends like that no more. You
I
just
wanted
walk.
to be, there's always that guy, like someone who's super like that.
Yeah.
They walk in and be like, hey, what's up? All of a sudden, they're fucking like, friends with everybody.
That's cool, dog.
That's what I was trying to be that day. Because
Okay,
I was
yeah.
there by myself, and most of my friends that live there, like, everybody's old, so they got fucking families and taking care of people and
That's-
shit. So
yeah.
no one could hang. So I was like, all right.
It's only certain. I don't know. It's just I think the vibe is different now because like when you see a dude like that and he's trying to talk, everybody just comes off as like he might be a serial killer, some shit. Like now you don't, because now the way that the climate is now, you can't really like, you know what I'm saying? Anybody comes to you like, oh, what the fuck? Who are you?
That's so funny. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the first thing I think. I'm like, who the fuck is you? Like,
I went out with my homies this weekend. I finally had a night off, so I went to
Yeah.
go watch some friends play music around town, and I was catching up with Chris Serrano.
oh, okay.
I never had a chance to see him because we're both so busy these days,
Yeah.
and we were like just talking downtown on a street corner, and this girl just like super like, what are you guys doing? Hey, like, and we're a little like that, like, all right.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen very often,
It
you know.
doesn't, dog. Exactly. And then you got to realize, first thing in your mind is, what's your intentions?
Yeah.
That's the best.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the
This
thing,
is
man.
a little
Shit.
young cute girl from clubbing downtown, you know.
Yeah.
And first I thought she was gonna be like confrontational, like, but she was all like super friendly, and I'm like, damn, where are these
yeah.
girls, you know?
Yeah, you don't meet people like that.
But like,
Period.
you know, maybe that's a little different because it's not the random guy going up. and, like,
Yeah,
what do
even
you-
that is weird. You like,
But we were a little like, what's going on here? What?
yeah, and then I mean, I can only talk from a guy's perspective, but it's even weirder for a guy because even if it's a cool girl and she's talking to you real cool, you go like, this is a setup or something. Like you feel weird because if something happens and she says some other shit that didn't really go down the way it went, guess your word against hers, and guess who's gonna be fucking asked out? Most of the time is the dude. Even though you were like, you're just being a gentleman the whole time. All she has to do is scream some shit out, and you're like, wait a minute, get away from me! What the fuck are you like, dude? I ain't doing shit. So as a guy, you get really, and women wonder why guys are little.
Stand up.
Yeah, because now they're saying they're saying now that women don't get approached as much.
Oh yeah, I mean I hear that. Yeah.
Yeah, the reason why is
Yeah.
built up to that shit.
They're saying now that like you know how I have those speed datings.
Yeah.
They would go to speed dating and only like 2 or 3 dudes to show up. Mostly it'd be a thing full of women.
Interesting.
And they're like, where are all the dudes at? And the dudes are like, I can't deal with this anymore because I don't know what's gonna happen out of this. And are you gonna accuse me of something, or are you gonna disturb my peace?
Well, I mean, in that situation though, like that's kind of set up as
that still going
meeting
on
thing,
now?
you know?
I don't know about, but they were talking about because women were talking about
Oh, just like
Because if there
random.
ain't, if there ain't no competition going on, I might go to one of these.
That's how it is.
Like, tell me more about these.
That's like that. That's what they're saying. Like, no guys are showing up, and a lot of dudes are like, "Nah, I'm good." Like, I've been in bars now where I don't go to bars like I used to, but I've seen it where girls walk in with their outfits on, looking sexy as hell, and the guys they might give a glance like this, and then they just keep talking. The guys are
You could go to one of those speed dating things, and you could like be cool enough to finagle a threesome. And they're like, yeah, it's only me and 2 other dudes here. There's like 15 women.
So basically, you go to them like, you really have no other option.
I'm like,
I'm
you
here.
find one girl you like, and then be like, so which one do you like?
Man, we deviated so far.
I know. It's like, how you start from there?
Well, we were just talking about like going out and like
Yeah.
approaching people. It's interesting, yeah.
Empty your rice.
Which is why I do like starting with a common ground, when
Yeah.
you're out
Yeah.
and about, So I think that's why it does work, when you see someone like, oh, you're doing comedy too, and then you get that you form that bond, at least with that thread,
Yeah, it's just
common interests.
That's the
course.
thing, and I think dating is just a little harder now,
Wow.
especially I think for dudes.
You ever dated a comic? Either of you?
Ooh, interesting.
No, I couldn't do it because I
thought
know
about it.
I got close.
No?
No,
You got, yeah.
no, because if something goes wrong, I'm gonna be in her set. She's gonna throw me in the set, bro. But it better be fire. If she throws, even if it's insulting to me, I'd be like this. That's a good setup. A good ender. That's her closer. Imagine your relationship is her closing joke, and it kills every time. You're
Damn, every time it's about you.
and you're like this, and everybody.
Everybody knows about you.
Yeah, it's you, but she gets a standing O.
I'll be like,
Yeah.
I gave her that joke.
Yeah, you like this. Yeah, my penis did that. He's all getting a stand up.
People are clapping harder just to spite you.
Yeah, you're like this. Fucking yeah.
It's not that big of a scene, so like I imagine it'd be hard to date a comic.
Yeah, it would be hard. But just in general, like just to say, even if you're a musician of poetry, and you end up getting together, but y'all break up, and then you over here, she's telling poetry, and it's about your ass, and everybody like this. That was heartfelt. I mean, that thing called anal douche. That is the best. That's the best poet. It's about your ass, and you're sitting there like this, fucking bitch. But everybody's like this. That's the best poetry
That's
I've
like
ever heard.
dating in your friend group too. That whole thing. 'Cause
yeah.
it is the same sort of thing. You know what I mean? If you
Yeah.
break up,
And
you're gonna see them still. They're in your
but
friend
you're in the
group.
set, bro.
Then you're gonna see them with their new dude.
But I don't mind the new stuff, but you're in the set. Even musician, like the song is, they write a new song and the song brings people to, oh my God, it's the best song, but it's about your ass.
You're so vain, you probably think this song is about you.
Yeah, but it's like that. It is about your ass.
Damn, I know it's about me.
It's about
That's
you.
right,
It's like,
'cause, we are opposites because I wouldn't care about the joke.
Okay.
Yeah, because if she broke up with me, and then I see the new dude, I would more be like, man, fuck that motherfucker.
yeah.
But if the joke's good, I'm like, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but it's like, but imagine like a joke or a song, like it's so good that they get like a fucking, like a.
So good you can't even hate. I don't know. I'd be
Yeah,
like,
they win a
Christ,
Grammy
you.
award. Like what's her name? What's her
Adele?
name? Adele. Like that song was. But,
I already know.
but her ex-man is just like this. Yeah, she won a couple of Grammys off me, dog. You know what I'm saying?
I need
Like,
some royalties.
for real, all the pain I caused.
I'm amused.
You went.
Call her
Yeah,
up. He's like, you trying to write a new album?
for real. You wanna date again? Yeah. You went diamond off the shit I did to you, girl. Fool, I cheated on you with your cousin. Look what happened. Look what happened. You went diamond. So I deserve some royalties for this, at least 10% or something.
Call me when you're ready for your new album.
Hit me up. Let's get back together. You ain't going through all this pain. That's why your last album was a dud.
I mean, dude, think about where the jokes come from, where the poetry comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It has to be.
None of this shit's coming from fucking straight happy times.
No, it has to be. Some of the poetry is happy.
Yeah.
That's what I try
I
and
feel
do with
you.
my poetry,
Yeah.
Try and celebrate life.
But you got bars though, Richie, dog. He got bars.
Thanks,
I
man.
seen him spit bars, dog. He's sitting there like, and he puts you in a vibe, and then like the music's going on, the homeboy's playing, the Chris playing the drums in the back,
Yeah.
and you sitting there like this, and it's just like, and the whole mood changes, and everybody's just kind of rocking to it, dog. And that's what I like about.
That's
the
why I
band,
do
dog.
my stuff, because like you said, we're talking about poetry slams. You
Yeah.
know, a lot of
Yeah.
it is like trauma dumping in a way, and so some poetry slams can get very like raw like that, emotional, and people are down. So like I try and write stuff that's more uplifting, even though I could write that stuff too, and I don't want to. Like, but yeah, it's nice to shift it up and celebrate.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like
That's what I write about and when I perform.
Yeah, you always do, man.
So you have a dude playing drums in the back?
Yeah, it's Chris,
yeah.
man. Chris be
Hell
like
yeah,
this.
dude.
Yeah, man.
That's the vibe.
He's the drummer guy from. He's also a Feline Fox with Anthony.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Him and Abe too. Abe is like.
Well, when you're talking about like the musician, I was thinking of Abe. You know, like going up after the musician who's up there, like just shredding
Abe
the
is
guitar.
like hella talented. That dude is so. There's some cats like sitting there like, I'm like, dude, like, you want them to get on because they're just so. It just everything is more authentic and natural. Like with them, like you just know they're meant for something. You feel me? That's just perception I get of people, dog.
That's why I've been able to do this for so long. Ultimately, is just like I get a front row seat to like I said at the beginning, passionate people.
Yeah.
They're hella talented. Like the musicianship, the songwriting. I love. I mean, when it comes down to comedy, man, we all love to laugh, man.
Yeah.
Releases endorphins, makes us feel good. Like, you know, I love the craft of poetry. Like, I love getting to hear people like write unique metaphors and metric and rhyme and use like the musical elements of language to bring an idea out. So I get a front row seat to that, and so even though it's been a long time, it doesn't feel like it sometimes because and then social life. We're talking about that too, you know. Met so many cool friends through this, you know.
Yeah.
Lifelong friends.
Maybe you have a connection. I mean, especially I haven't been to a BWOMS mic in a while because of my schedule, but when I was at Black Orchard, that was a time where like all the comedians, poetry people, they would talk after the mic and shit.
I think that's why I was talking about like the kind of it felt so different compared to that.
Yeah,
you know?
That was a different vibe.
We'd have
dude.
drinks, we'd hang out,
or
talk ideas.
The look on the list, and they would like the musicians. Hey, Otis, you going up again? Yeah, I'm going up. Hey, yeah, man, when you going up? Da-da-da-da-da. And I'm gonna wait. I would tell the musicians, when you go up, I'll come. I'm gonna wait to you, and I'll be in the front row just listening to them and shit.
Yeah.
And because I needed that at the time. Dog. I was going through a lot, and the music and the poetry helped me out a lot. Dog. I think honestly, dude, I don't think you realize, Richie, like a lot of the stuff you do, dog. I think mentally you're helping a lot of people.
People tell me, so I appreciate when people do, because I guess I wouldn't on my own. I'm like I'm doing this thing, but enough people tell me that it also makes it feel worthwhile. You know, it's not the most lucrative thing, as we know.
Yeah, you don't like, you know.
But it's deep and rich in other ways.
Yeah, man. You are honestly, dog. I think, especially your open mics, is an avenue for somebody that might be going through some shit, and just being present there around other people or being able to event like that could change somebody's life.
We get so many of that, yeah. People who tell me this. I want to get back to like supporting everyone. You know, that's the ultimate goal.
It should be like that, but But what I'm gonna do is go on social media and put somebody on blast. I think I'm gonna do that right now.
Like, damn. Like in the back of my mind.
Comment section.
That's like this and this. I know who he's talking. No, but yeah,
it's
you're
interesting
right.
how it comes out. Dude, like as an outsider, because I haven't been like it's interesting when that stuff pops off. Like,
you know what's funny about the social media rants though?
Yeah.
The funny thing is that when you can tell when somebody writes a whole entire paragraph. And they even use commas and semicolons and shit.
All caps.
And I'm sitting there like this. And they write that shit, and then you know the people that are looking at it only read about maybe 2 sentences and they go, eh. If you're not really going deep into the fucking mud and just telling exactly what it is, people just go like this. Nah.
It's a fucking scan.
Yeah, I used to like, eh.
That's funny.
And they go, but you heard what I said in my when I posted, right? They're like, what'd you say? I wrote a 2-page essay on it, and I'm like, oh, nobody
Damn.
You can't read that shit.
I go read that shit.
You need the
bro.
TLDR in the comments.
For real, dog. You better go to ChatGPT and get how do I rant in short sentences. You better fucking tap that in and see what you can get.
Reading the first sentence to see if anybody's name is in there.
That's it, bro.
And then maybe the last sentence is just because we're seeing how long this fucking shit is.
Yeah. But somebody that make it obvious, dog, somebody just sitting there like, what are we arguing again? What are we tripping off?
Again, yeah.
It's hilarious. I don't think, besides the comedians, the poetry people, musician people don't get down like that. They don't put each other on blast like that.
It's a small enough scene that it would just hurt us, you know? You know, it just...
That's a good point.
We just want to support everyone because there's other shit going on that
makes
you know
sense.
that I want to support them, you know, and like it doesn't make sense for me to like be mad at another existence of something, you know.
It doesn't make any sense.
It's like no, I want to get people out there because the more people come out to any of ours, we're growing it out, you know.
Yeah.
How often you get like new musicians coming through?
There's cycles for sure.
Yeah.
There's cycles, yeah. Like you're saying, it's the demographics or. You have people who move into town, you know, and start trying stuff out.
Ever thought about putting out like a mixtape or something?
Oh man, in our early days when we were at the Percolator, we had an established DJ who would be there. He started to record people's sets, and I think he had like a BWOMS mixtape 1, mixtape 2. They're just like live sets.
Seems like something that would.
I think it'd be cool. I've been trying to I was talking about production stuff. Like in that time, you know, because there's so many awesome performances, I realized, damn, I need to start like documenting more of this stuff. So I started teaching myself how to record live audio like off of a board and investing in cameras. And so I think, you know, the hard part is doing it all on my own.
Right.
So I started to like try and do all that stuff, but when it's just me hosting and trying to do audio and trying to record video and take photos and post, it's a lot of work. But when I do have the chance, I've been trying to document more, and I've done we have a SoundCloud. I actually do have a mixtape. I think that's what I called it actually.
You know, those could be released as like podcast type shit. Because podcast is real easy to fucking get put up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've thought about. We've done podcasts actually too, where it's like a longer discussion with like the open mic artists.
Yeah.
Talk about the journey, but again, it's just also a lot of work.
No doubt.
Because
no doubt.
I also teach, you know, I teach English and.
No, you got a lot on your plate though, man.
It
You
could be a
do
cool
a lot.
podcast of just like the.
From like sets.
Yeah, kind of like music stuff, you know.
Okay.
Because then that seems like something people would want to. I'd tune in and be like,
Oh, you talking about like
what fucking is going on?
remember those oh, you talking about you know, at the desk concerts?
The
Tiny
desk?
Desk?
Tiny
Tiny
Desk?
Desk is the shit.
Tiny Desk, or remember back in the day, it's not non-existent now, but the AOL little thing where they're in the studio and they'd be like doing that, they would record it.
Okay.
Kind of like that. You could do stuff, but like I said, you doing it by yourself. You need somebody like at least a team, or somebody be like, "Hey, man, while you doing this, I'll go ahead and do this over here."
Yeah.
Or somebody to
People get interested, but you know, it's also commitment, and people, once they realize there's a commitment, kind of shy away.
Yeah.
You
You
know?
gotta put some effort into it. People just,
A little bit.
it's like open mics. All right, not some, I'm like, all. But yo, some people, just shows, they just want to show up. That's it.
Yeah.
They just want to show up and record me, do this, grab my nuts, and then you just leave. And you're like this. Okay? Yeah, and it doesn't work that way. Like,
I tattooed a fucking 18-year-old yesterday.
yeah.
The AOL thing made me think of this.
Okay.
Dude, when we were talking, the disconnect was so fucking like far and shit, right? Like he knew nothing of anything I said. I was
my
like,
God.
"Do you even know what language I'm speaking?" Like,
Yeah,
I was like,
that, dog.
I was like, you know who Quentin Tarantino is? Because we were talking about movies. He's like, nah, never heard of him.
Dude, that's crazy.
I was like, do you know this person? No, never heard of him. What about this? No, never heard of him. I was just like, you never heard of anything. What are you doing? Like,
Dude,
do you
but that-
watch anything?
That's me as a teacher, man.
Dude, how did
I always try and make references, allusions. Like,
What grade are you
nothing.
teaching?
I teach college.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Man, but how you,
It's just,
Yeah, it was weird.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, how do you not know who Quentin
I don't know.
Tarantino
I
is?
mean, he's 18 years old. I'm in my 40s, so I'm like, you
I
know
get it,
nothing.
But
I'm
I feel,
talking about.
I mean,
Like,
damn, you must not know any
you
film
would
at
know
all, though.
Quentin Tarantino. Like, I feel like, you know what
Culturally,
I mean? Yeah.
like, there are
Yeah.
some people who transcend into culture, like allusions, references, like in other media.
Yeah.
I guess it's just not being talked about.
And yeah, this is, I think it's
Yeah,
just
the
a little,
Quentin Tarantino thing popped up because I was talking about, he did something that reminded me of Kill Bill.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was like, you ever seen that movie Kill Bill? And he's like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
That's weird. Man.
Wow, dog.
The only person he knew was like Leonardo DiCaprio when we were talking about shit.
Oh, you mean that old guy?
Yeah, I was like, you ever seen Django Unchained? Because we were talking about something, and he was like, I have no idea who this is. And I was just like,
wow,
it's like,
bro.
you know who Jamie Foxx is? He's like, oh yeah, I heard of him. I was like, what the hell?
Even my daughter knows about
What
stuff
are
in
you
that, bro.
doing, bro? Yeah.
Skibbity.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to at least put some of that into my daughter. Like, I kept playing, these classic movies, some like Wu-Tang, all that stuff. She knows she likes her other stuff, but at least she knows.
Yeah.
Like, get the brain going, dog.
Yeah.
It's like everything isn't just social media based. You gotta dip into some shit. The thing is, it gets me now. It's like there's so much stuff. You have everything. The knowledge is right there, and then some people don't want to use it.
Dude, back when I was a kid, we had encyclopedias. Mm-hmm. Encyclopedia Britannica or some shit, right? Like,
All the knowledge at your fingertips.
that shit was dope, though. Flipping through those, they had dope pictures. And
Man.
learning stuff. Now it's
Yeah.
just like a quick little...
Yeah, man, people
Wikipedia.
don't want to do that. They just want to be.
Well, because it's so quick access, no one wants to go and look through it in that way, just to learn.
I know, even when I don't know something, I go, oh, what is this? Let me just look it up on Google.
Right.
And some kids would be like, I don't know that, and they just go like this. I don't know that,
Like, I will never know it.
and I don't want to. I like this. Just
Unless
look.
it comes up on their feed.
That's it. But like, once you just look that up, if you don't know what it is, they don't do that. I do it. I'm like, yo, because I never had that option when I was younger. So I'm like,
That one's wild to me.
yeah. If I don't know something, like, what's the capital of this? I'm like, well, let me look it up. I don't know what the capital of that is. So let me go, oh, this is what it is. Sometimes I'm not used to it, so I ask myself a question, and I'll be like, man, what is that? Wait a minute, I got my phone. Just look it up, bro. We do that shit all the time when we talk.
Oh yeah.
I don't get people, like, some of the young kids,
Damn.
my daughter the same way. One time my daughter was on TikTok for like, I'm not gonna, like 2 or 3 hours, dog. I went to the store, and I said, hey, you can watch TV or whatever. I got back. The TV was still off. It got dark. I came back when it was dark, like
dark.
3 hours. She was just in the dark, and I was like, you didn't turn the TV on or none of the lights on in the house? Nah, I'm good. I'm like this, you're sitting in the dark. Did you eat anything? Nah. I'm like this, so you were watching TikTok for 2 or 3 hours when I was gone? Yeah.
I guess so.
And I'm like, did you do anything when I was gone?
The muscles all shredded.
No, she just does this, bro.
Break a brick.
And like, it's a different generation now. So
Yeah,
like,
sure.
my mom, my daughter's all like, yeah, she's watching makeup tutorials, and she's like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, all right, cool. But then it was a dude, but nothing wrong with it. But he had like a perfect beard, and he was just giving her, I forgot his name, but he was showing her how to put on makeup. And I never thought when I was younger I would see something like this.
Yeah.
And I'm like this, and he did a good job. But I was just sitting there like this. So this guy knows about how putting on makeup. It's like, Dad, you don't understand. This is, what's his name? Trevor, whatever his name was, Ricardo. I don't know what his name was, but he knew how to put on makeup. And I'm like this. I told her like this. All right, he's putting on makeup. Whatever you're doing isn't that. Because she had everything screwed.
Oh.
I was just like, at least listen to him, because you look like, she's going to hate me for this. She's gotten
like,
better, but when she first started putting on makeup, I was like, so is a circus coming to town? What's going on? I was like, she hated me for so long.
Oh, man.
She got mad at me. I was like, I know you ain't going out like that.
You know, I think about that too, like the makeup thing, because it's like, essentially you're painting faces.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but it doesn't seem to translate. Like painting a face. Like, you know? But
Yeah.
essentially you're
Okay.
painting a face. You should know where all the shit goes. So.
But I don't know how she didn't.
I mean, there's a difference between like coloring something with a crayon and then figuring out how to blend in
Yeah.
shadings, based on contour and all that
Yeah,
All that
so
stuff, yeah.
I've seen my sister do this stuff and seen other people watch these things, and I'm like, and I paint faces, so I'm looking at the shit, I'm like, you technically know where the tonal values are, where the changes are, because you're doing them on your face.
Yeah. That's what. But thing is, like, when I try to tell my daughter, like, she doesn't need that much makeup,
Yeah.
because she's like a natural beauty. Some women don't need that much makeup. They just go. They can put a little blush or whatever. I can't believe I'm talking about this, but You can do whatever, you know. And she doesn't listen to me. It's like she does the opposite of what I say. I'm like this. I say, you're a natural beauty. You don't even need that much makeup. Just go a little bit of this. And even my mom has told her, and other people told her.
Yeah.
She goes, and then she just puts a whole foundation on.
So it's new to her. So she's trying to, find her way,
But I think
which is not gonna be right away.
Yeah, you're probably right. But I think she's also doing the opposite because I'm saying she doesn't need it. She goes, yeah, I need it.
I'm gonna go more harder.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do the opposite of what my dad says. You know how any parent does.
Fair.
Or a kid does. It's like, yeah, I think she's doing the opposite. If I go, hey, so maybe I should go put on more makeup, and then she'll put on less.
Oh,
This is also El Paso.
that's gonna manifest in other things, though. If you say,
Yeah,
need
you're
more
right.
makeup, that's gonna lead to other.
Yeah, you're right. I'm right there on the razor's edge. I don't want to push the issue, but I love her. But it's just like sometimes I'm just like, I don't think she realizes how beautiful she is. But I think if you talk to any woman, if you tell them that, they just kind of look at you like,
Well, you know, it's a trippy thing too because it's like I feel like southern states, a lot of states where like there's a lot of like Latino population.
yeah.
The fucking tattooed eyebrows, the fucking blocked off eyebrows. As soon as you leave those states, I don't see them in the other states.
I haven't seen those a whole lot lately, though.
No, I mean,
either.
I seen more natural back in the
That
day.
used to be.
Yeah, they're still around.
Really? Oh, damn.
Yeah.
I guess I'm not hanging out in those spots,
Yeah,
Well,
I
the
see.
tattoo thing.
I think
Yeah.
trends have gone back to more natural.
Yeah, I see more women with the more natural
But
eyebrows.
yeah.
They
I
look
do
they're
remember.
tattooed up.
I do remember
Really?
those, though.
Yeah, I still see them a lot.
You know what?
Really?
Yes,
I
because
don't
you get a little
see
bit of tattoo scene.
Yeah. They're
When I
doing,
do go,
like,
I see that.
microblading that looks a little bit fucking.
Yes.
It's not as hardcore chola stuff,
Yeah.
but like it's definitely there more than if you leave here. Like you go to Seattle, you go to Minnesota, like,
Okay.
Chicago. Like you're not seeing it as much.
Yeah.
Really? I just see women use the, what do you call it? Where they take the strings and they like,
Oh yeah, the threading.
the threading. I see women all up on that shit. They're like getting it
Yeah.
shaped up perfectly, like, and it's like, bam.
Well, yeah, that's like a thing.
Yeah, because I don't see the drawing in anymore as much. And sometimes if you,
I remember it being more prominent, but I think in the tattoo circles, I can definitely see how that's
Well, I still see
incorporated.
it a lot, and I notice it more because of the
Oh,
because
okay.
of the tattoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I gotta ask a woman this, but what makes you pluck every, it has to hurt. To
They
pluck
want it to
every,
be fucking perfect, and they're probably getting OCD on that shit. Be like, shifted too far left.
but some women, they pluck all the hairs on their eyebrows and then they tattoo them on. I'm like, yo, how do you,
It's like a cultural look too.
really?
Yeah, because you're not seeing fucking white chicks do this.
Now I need to Google this.
Yeah, I need to Google this too. 'Cause I barely see something like that. Like, yo,
I
You're not really seeing black
yeah.
chicks do this either.
Yeah.
It's more of a
Interesting.
Latino community thing.
maybe you're right, dog.
I guess I don't pay attention
Me too.
to that.
The only thing I pay attention to women most of the time, like when I would look at them now, is if their forearms are hairy. If they have really hairy forearms, I just I'm like, yeah, you don't take care of yourself. If that's hairy, I can tell the rest of your body's probably.
Yo, the tattoo thing, right? So, man, one time, I have to shave people when I tattoo them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And one time, this young girl came in. I think she was like, it was a birthday tat. She just turned 18 or something, right? Her mom was with her.
Yeah.
So I go to fucking like shave her arm, and she was kind of hairy. But when I went to fucking clean that shit, dude, by habit you clean it and you look, it's fucking thick. This shit was dirty as fuck, bro. Like, and then I'm looking at the mom like, shouldn't you yell at your kid to fucking clean herself or something? Like, your kid is filthy.
Oh, because
What is going on
there's
here?
always this layer of dirt on top of her skin, right? For the most part. But if you don't shower, like scrub it, or you gotta exfoliate or whatever the fuck that is,
Dude, it was dirty.
it shouldn't be that dirty.
It was dirty like I was wiping off spray tan.
You were caught off guard, huh?
Yeah,
That
I
was-
was just kind of like, I didn't want to be like, ugh.
Ugh. So-
It was gross, bro. Because if that forearm is that dirty, you can just imagine like, funky parts being fucked up.
Hey, that's the thing. That's my pet peeve.
Just saying.
If women have hairy forearm, they just go like, all right, I don't know if I can take it there.
I've seen some I've had to shave some dudes that were so fucking hairy, bro. Like for real. My Fucking
like
did his
a
grandma's
rug?
portrait right here. This dude shit was like that thick.
Really?
Yeah, his shirt never touches his skin.
Damn.
Damn, dog.
He's the brother. That guy's my brother. So,
Yeah.
Alright.
But still.
This
I
shit's
mean,
funny.
just genetically, like, some people are just
Yeah.
hairy, you know what I'm saying? Like, my brother's hairy like that.
Yeah.
He's just nearly like, but he's a big dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has like, he has autism and stuff. So, like, I've pretty much known how to kind of deal with it, the autism thing. And
Oh yeah.
but the reason I'm segueing into that because Domingo.
Oh yeah.
Because Domingo.
Does he go to your shows?
Yeah.
Does he? Okay.
And Domingo always helps. I'm gonna shout him out, but he always helps out my set now
Okay.
because he'll yell he'll yell in the middle of my set, but he's doing it for support. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he'll yell. But I told him to do this. I say, well, if you're gonna yell, since I'm black, just yell out something about grape Kool-Aid or something. And he's like, he sticks to that now. He'll go grape Kool-Aid, and I'm like,
that's funny.
and I go like, well, when you have autism, you can never be racist. And everybody just starts laughing. It's like, you can yell out the N-word and nobody's going to say anything because you have autism. And he starts yelling and stuff too. He starts laughing and stuff
Well,
too.
he would always like yell out for people he wanted to see, right? Like Kool-Aid.
Yeah,
and
Kool-Aid,
Like Jenny.
Jenny.
Like, Jenny, we want Jenny.
He still yells
Howard.
those.
He still yells.
He does, yeah.
He'll yell out grape Kool-Aid. And he'll, I love you, Otis. I love you too, Domingo. And he'll go and hug me on stage. And he'll walk off. Dog.
So he's always in the crowd. He never performs, or
He does perform
He does
sometimes.
does. Okay.
He's
okay.
cool because he'll just get up there and just be straight yelling on top of his lungs, but it's so funny and it's
Oh,
fun.
dude, I like it. I love it because he'll bring his phone up too.
Yeah.
You know, and then I'm
Does,
just thinking.
does Dan go to yours as well?
Yeah.
Yes.
Dan the man. Okay.
Dan
Yeah,
the
when
man.
he's yelling, I'm like, he actually wrote these jokes.
Uh-huh.
It's
Yeah.
not just random shit. It
Yeah.
sounds like random
Yeah.
shit, but he wrote this shit.
And I was telling everybody was saying like, if you look at the Domingo, like he's pretty much more successful than pretty much all the comics that go to the mics.
Oh yeah.
He has his own job. He travels. I saw him in Iceland.
Yep.
He's been to other places, and most of us just go to Dyer Street and get a taco or some shit. So he's living the life and shit like that. So he's always, but I love the guy, man. He's always very supportive of me and shit
Shout
like
out
that.
to
That's
Domingo.
cool.
Yeah, I would always see him when Adam was doing bingo night at Prickly Elder,
Yeah,
which is already a while back.
Yeah.
Those bingo nights were kind of fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but that Bingo Nights, he's been on most of the mics yelling, and I have a job. I'm gonna say it, but I have a joke. Well, I always say it with him, but I say when he yells out loud, I say give it up for the guy with autism. I said autism speaks, but it doesn't shut the fuck up, and everybody starts cracking up.
I heard that. Yeah.
And he starts laughing, and I was like, and he's the perfect segue, dog.
Yeah.
And I tell him like I can only do that joke with you here, and he's like, I know, I help you out. I'm like, you do,
Yeah.
dog. You help me out a lot. And then Dan the Man gets up there, and Dan the Man, I love the guy too, because Dan the Man still talking shit, does buzz talk. He wants to,
What was he doing?
He wants to be on the Trickle Talent comedy thing.
The battle royale.
The Battle Royale.
my
And he's
gosh.
like, he has not let him up there. Every day he goes up there, like, I don't know why I'm not up there in Trickle Town.
But it's been getting crazier. Where he's like, "Whose dick do I gotta suck?" That's what he did last time. We're like,
No,
"Oh."
I know exactly. 'Cause he does the same thing. Like he's like he always wants to host. He's like, oh, when am I gonna get to host? I'm like, I don't know, man. You gotta stick around and be.
Yeah,
He hosted
It's
at
a lot of work.
Phoenix once.
he did.
He did. Oh, nice.
Yeah. That was interesting, but it was
Yeah.
real fun.
I didn't. It was on the flyer.
Nah, he just kind of like
If it was, I would have gone.
he was on the fly. He's on the fly, kind of basically. He got the host because he's been ranting about the Trickle Town thing for a while. Dog.
Has he?
Yeah, he went like he had a
Oh,
funny.
he's talking about the festival when it happened, or
No, the battle royale things.
oh, are those the
Yeah.
ones that go down at the comic strip?
Yeah. That
yeah,
one.
he wants to
okay.
be on that, and the other rant recently this past week was pretty funny. He
Yeah.
was going like, "Yo, whose dick I gotta suck?"
Yeah.
And this and this, and we're all like, "Whoa!" he has
that's
some bars.
That's pretty funny because also he rarely curses.
Yeah, he really
When
curses,
so
but
it's,
this time,
when he does it, like it has an impact.
yeah, I think
He's
we're
been cursing more lately.
yeah, I think we're rubbing
been
off on him.
funnier.
Dog.
That's probably it.
Yeah, the comics. And then one time he got the mic, and there's like in Cinco, there's couches on the side of the stage,
Okay.
and he just told him to hand the mic while he was still sitting there. He's like,
Yeah, dude.
he was all like, Nico's like, you want me to hand you the mic? He's like, yeah. and he just sat down. and was like, hello, El Stupidos.
Yeah. And he does his laugh. Ha!
Yeah. And then he just started going off, dog. And I was like, yo. So now I can see him getting more confident than he was before.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, dog. It's funny, dog.
He's got his platform. He knows he's got a platform,
Yeah, dog.
Takes his
He's getting a
advantage of
thicker
it.
skin.
He is, dog.
Yeah.
And he
That's
has,
good. That's good. He used
Good.
to be more like super like I'm talking or like
Yeah.
get mad, you know,
Nah.
or like
He also has his romantic side.
Oh yeah.
When he had a bunch of roses.
every
Yeah.
Valentine's Day he gives
Valentine's
roses
Day.
And
out to people.
and one time he gave one for Sharita, but Sharita wasn't there. But it had thorns on it, dog. So when I grabbed it, that shit poked me, dog. And I was like, what the? And he's like, and you better give it to Sharita. And I'm like, she ain't here, bro. What you want me to do?
Why?
I don't know. And then eventually, by the time I gave it to her, it's dead.
Dead ass rose.
And then I'm giving it to her and shit. And
So
then
he
like Zeke's-
trusted you with
yeah, but then her man Zeke is looking at me fucked up. He's like, "Who the fuck?" I'm like, "Dude, it's from Dan the man, not from me." He's like, "This, it better." I'm like, "Dog, I'm not even." I'm like, "Dog, I'm not trying to hit up on your girl." Dan the man was like, "I said, Dan, you don't got me in trouble." He's like, "Well, did you give it to her?" I'm like, "Yeah." Then you didn't get in any trouble. And I was like,
What?
Yeah, dog.
Whoa.
Yeah, dog. He's been on some thug shit, dog.
Damn, I love that. That's funny.
He's
to
been
hear.
on some thug shit recently, dog. He's been coming into mics like this. All right. And then one time you skipped him by accident.
Oh
man.
damn.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's.
It's because he drew an arrow and tried to switch his place, and I was like, what the fuck is going on
Because
here?
how people do that, yeah.
Yeah.
And he got mad at you, dog. He gave you the face.
And he was like, oh, come on.
Which is funny because he goes to open mics and he's most of the time will be on his phone there and like in his
Yeah.
own little world.
Yeah.
And then you miss him, all of a sudden he's right in there.
Yeah, dog.
I had to apologize. I was like, dude, I'm sorry. You drew the arrow. It's partially your fault.
The arrow through me, yeah.
Yeah, man. But he's good people, man. It's just good to have that vibe. And like I said, the open mics open up something for like pretty much everybody. Like, I wouldn't have met some of the awesome people like yourself, Steve, if it wasn't for the open mic. Like, honestly, it wouldn't. Like, honestly, like comedy or just that particular, it opened up the world to different people.
Yeah.
I would never got to know a lot of people if it wasn't because of that, dog.
I wouldn't have any friends.
Same there, dog.
Shout out to all the friends out
Yeah,
there.
it wouldn't be for
Yeah,
open mic,
shout out to the
dog.
homies.
It's me and my dog, bro. Literally me and my dog.
Because the tattoo homies that I know, I don't hang out with them on a daily basis, or not
Yeah.
even every week. I rarely ever see them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The open mics is pretty much a weekly thing where it's kind of like you going to your favorite bar or something and hooking up with your friends, but now you're meeting different people. And what was does what's his face still perform with the guitar? Leroy.
Yeah, I mean, he goes to Old Sheepdog.
Oh, she does.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, he had the blackest name.
Leroy
He's this
Morale.
Mexican, like, you Leroy? He's like, yeah, you got the blackest. I told him you had the blackest name, dog. You Mexican. He's like, I know. I'm like, at first I saw you, it's like Leroy gonna play the guitar. I'm like this. All right, man, see my brother Lee. Man, ain't fucking Mexican. Like, Leroy's the blackest name.
El Leroy.
Yeah, Leroy.
It's funny.
Yeah, but he's a talented dude. He will set the vibe, and he will wait for me to go up on stage too. He's like, you gonna go up? I'm like, yeah, I'll wait for you. I'll chill. I was gonna leave, but I'll stay a
That's
little bit longer.
cool. Yeah, I see that a lot when people want to like. They're like, oh, when's so and so? Okay, I'm gonna stick around because I want to catch them. So.
Yeah, I'm the same
Yeah,
way
that
with
shit's
that.
tight, man.
Yeah,
I
that's
like
what I like. That's when we kind of need to get back to with the open mics there when it's different people like that. Because I used to do that shit all the time. Like,
Yeah.
you going up, dog? You doing any poetry? All right, I'm gonna stay here and watch.
Yeah.
I'll sit. You need to kind of do that. I mean, yeah. 'Cause once a comedian smoke weed, if you get them back inside and put some chips and cookies down, they'll stay. Let's put
Yeah.
some chips and cookies. That's all we need.
Sometimes I be having to, they forget where they're at or they're even on the list.
Yeah.
And I'll have to go.
Oh, that's
I'll be
always
like, hey.
always the case. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta go
I always
find
have
their ass.
people like who check the list like 4 or 5 times. You know, they'll go up there and like
Yeah.
so they keep like checking back on it.
You know, in the other places I did comedy, everywhere else always does the fucking, like, on deck thing.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
You do that too. You're like, blah, 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 but what's his
On
face
deck
is
we
on
have,
deck.
yeah.
So if you miss it, that's on you.
Yeah, and so I don't even,
I'll try and read
I
it
don't
off.
even
Yeah.
do it here. So I'm just like, shit, I'm not doing it either. So
Nah.
fuck.
No, the on deck thing is pretty nice. The only thing
It
about
is.
it is like when somebody tells you on deck and you still miss your shit, that's your fault at that point.
Yeah.
You can't blame the person. You got, well, I'm like, I told you was on deck, bitch.
If I don't announce it, what'll happen is sometimes I'll go and walk over to that person like, you're next, or like, hey, you're after.
Yeah, but if you still miss your
person.
spot, it's not
Oh, yeah.
my job to put you back up like this. You missed your spot, bro.
Granted, though, like, yeah, they're in like, yeah, Seattle, Minnesota, there were like fucking 30 people on that list.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you
they're
got-
like, they had to do the on deck shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you better be vigilant, like hear your name, right?
Yeah.
You know, but you don't go outside and come get you. No.
No, they literally had to be on deck. Like,
So
you
what
gotta
would it be like?
waiting next
Like
to-
3 to 5 minute?
Yeah,
sets.
yeah. Most of the spots were always three.
Three,
There was only a couple like special spots that
Okay. Yeah.
like that did 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or the seasoned vets or somebody that's been doing clubs. You like, all right, you got.
The spot in Minnesota, it was a underground comedy or some shit, and it was like this badass fucking basement.
Oh,
that's
cool.
cool.
They
man.
they had it like almost, it was like 3 minutes, and then you'd have people like that were already seasoned or some shit, or maybe
Yeah.
they've been going there for, and then be like 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Like 3 minutes, 5, 3.
Oh, nice.
See, that'd be an interesting way to kind of placate like the ones who are like showing up to open mics, give them a little
Right.
time, and
Yeah.
not as much, but
Yeah. You
not a
could-
full on set.
Yeah, but
Right.
because there's sometimes Richie will let me go
A little longer.
long,
yeah.
sometimes because I'll be like, I'm thinking I'm about to get off. I look over at Richie and he's like, no, you good? And I'm like, are you sure? He's like, yeah. And he'll let you go for a little bit, man. That's one thing I like.
Especially
about
like if you're like the only comic or like
Yeah.
there's only like 2 or
That's badass.
so people sign up and then leave.
Yeah, so I usually, but you like stick around. But the thing is, it's like, and then, mad respect to Mona, but it's so stretched out.
Yeah, it's a little
It's like,
tougher.
it's a little because of the sound, like you said, travels. So and sometimes people won't hear what you're doing in the back, or somebody's talking, it kind of takes over the room. You have to calm it down a little bit because you won't be able to hear yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, but my particular spots are Rosewood that you have it in, and what's the other spot you do it in? Like I know it's Rosewood, Mona,
We got Old Sheepdog now.
Old Sheepdog.
We just started more writers' nights, Proof and Press and at Crown of Crows,
Okay.
which is like a little tavern downtown. We do a storytelling night.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
How's
cool,
that going?
man.
It's good. It's really cool.
yeah.
Yeah. So the Wednesday nights are all about kind of craft as well. So like we do poetry night. So they alternate. Poetry night is like we do a writing workshop from 7 to 9, like a little bit of generative stuff, like writing something down. But then we invite people to like workshop a piece. They'll like read something and then the crowd will like give feedback. I have these wireless mics that I pass around.
Oh,
That's
cool.
People
cool,
will
man.
like, questions from the audience, like clarifications, like trying to like shape up a piece that's,
Yeah. So this. Oh, I'm sorry.
and then we do open mic at 9. And then the other one, the storytelling night, what it is we draw names from a cup. It's 4 names. And you can read up to 15 minutes of like a story. And then the next 15 minutes is also like for crowd, like feedback, criticism, like,
These are original stories?
yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Original work stuff.
Wow.
Up to 15 minutes. Are people doing 15 minutes?
No, not for the most part.
Yeah.
But 15 minutes max, I guess. So it's a little different format than the open mic. Not everyone's gonna get to read or perform. We only choose 4 people.
Oh, the other
Okay,
people.
yeah.
So
it's a
that's why we
special thing.
put the name in there, draw the name. All right.
That's cool.
15 minutes. You have 15 minutes to perform.
On
Or read
average, how long
something.
are their stories?
Maybe anywhere from 5 to 10.
Oh, okay. They're still doing
not too
some of these
much.
stories.
Just a
All
little
right.
bit. Yeah. So people are reading like prose. We invited screenplays, any kind of fiction, nonfiction. We had my buddy Valentin Sandoval, who's a filmmaker.
Yeah.
He got chosen. He just kind of freestyled a story, like from his life.
That's not bad, bro.
And that's cool. Afterwards, just like again, we have a mic. People leave their commentary and feedback. What they enjoy, what they like. How can certain things be stronger?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's say I know you only have the Monday comedy thing.
Oh,
But let's just say like if I had a story,
Yeah.
it didn't happen to be somewhat funny, I could go there.
We get a lot of people
Storytelling jokes.
incorporate humor in their writing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can still hit it up and be like, hey man, like even if I'm chosen or not, I just sit there and vibe. But if I get chosen, I can
Yeah.
do so. Okay, just make sure.
And but like let's be honest, like a lot of comedy is storytelling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
So that could work,
And that's what's a funny thing about working out your storytelling jokes.
Yeah.
Because you're only getting like 5 minutes and shit.
Yeah.
It's hard to fucking figure that out.
Yeah.
It's like, especially if you're doing a set, you don't want to just jump right into a story. You want to do a couple hitters first.
Yeah.
To get them, laughing.
Yeah.
And then you go into your story. But by that time, you've got like maybe 3 minutes left, if
Yeah.
even that. Like,
Yeah.
You kind of have to go into it.
yeah. So it's a little harder to workshop fucking story jokes.
Because, I mean, I'm not trying to be dirty or nothing, but due to the fact that most of my life considered working at the sex shop,
Yeah.
there's some stories I want to tell, but
Those
I
are
can't.
interesting stories, man.
But I want to, but some of them are just not PG-13. Only because that's just what I saw. I'm not trying to
Yeah.
over exaggerate anything. It's what I
what it
saw.
is.
So I
Yeah,
want
it
to be able
is.
to talk because some things they're not even funny. It's just they're stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I say them at the mic, like, people just go, "What the, what, huh, what?" And I'm like, "Well, that's what happened." And nobody laughs. They just look at me weird. But I'm like, "That's what happened to me, bro. I had to slip and slide in a room full of lube, and it wasn't a Diddy party. It was just I had to slip around like that. It was weird. It didn't make it. I didn't do it. I didn't make the mess. I just walked in. I was like, "What the?" The dude was like, "What's the problem?" I'm like, "Dude, just lube everywhere, dog."
Yeah.
He was, what? So you're saying? I'm like, "Yeah, dog. I gotta do it. I gotta check the room, bro." He's like, "Well, I'm sorry. Am I gonna get my deposit back?" Like, "No, bro, you're not, because there's lube on the. There was lube on the doorknob, my guy." I went like that. I went. I was all like, "What the?"
Gross.
Usually I wear gloves, but I was like, "What the?" I was like, "Dude," I was like, and I went in. I was literally doing this, and I was
Hiding
like,
around.
"Dude," and he was all like, he was just sitting there like this. There a problem? I'm like, "This dog. The room's in lube, bro."
What are you doing?
I like that story because it's absurd and like
Yeah.
just
And he was by
That's the norm.
himself. I was like this, and I didn't even see him walking with any lube. So how the fuck did you get this everywhere? He's like, "I don't want to." So this is frowned upon?
This is frowned upon.
I'm like, yes, dude. But I want to be able to say stories because it's what I've been through, dog.
Yeah.
But I just don't know in that environment, like
It's not a high school, man. We're at a bar drinking. You
okay,
know?
I'm just walking, man. You know, because I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I want
yeah.
to say it, man. I'm like this. Can I do it? Because I can't do it in front of comedy guys. Be like, "Oh, here you go again, this guy." But
Did
I'm
I
just,
send you a lube meme this morning?
I think you might have.
Yeah, because it made me think.
I think you might have.
As a group, this
Getting pigeonholed into the.
dude, this shit was funny, man. They were doing pranks on people and shit, right? Like pranks on thieves. And they had a fucking U-Haul truck, and they baby oiled the whole floor.
Oh,
And then they
damn.
put some boxes in the back.
Yeah.
So these two fucking people hopped in, and they were like, "Oh shit, let me check these boxes." And as soon as they got to the back,
Yeah.
they shut the door.
Oh,
Yeah, and so it's all it's all lubed up, and then they start driving around. So they're fucking.
damn.
That shit was so good, dude.
That's so fucking stupid.
And then at the end, they open it back up, you know, and they're like, "You ain't gonna hop in fucking random trucks no more, are you?" And they're like, "No."
Oh, that's the same shit where they leave the purses on the floor.
Yeah.
And then people go try to dig in the purse and steal it, and then shoots them in the face with some like paint.
Oh shit.
That shit is so.
Yeah.
They always do it, and they always do it in the hood ass neighborhood, so they know somebody gonna grab it, and it's always popping in their face. Dog. That shit is funny, dog.
Yeah, these are the same guys that did the like exploding bicycle seats.
Oh,
yeah, like,
those,
They
yeah,
try and ride off and just falls
Yeah,
apart.
that one, the bike falls apart or the front wheel flies off.
yeah.
And they flip, eat shit. Like
Oh,
it was kind of horrible as far as like you guys are fucking people up, but it was also really fun.
Yeah, because you shouldn't be grabbing other people's shit.
Oh, dude, one dude stole a fucking like moped or some shit.
Yeah.
And they had like an airbag in the fucking seat. That shit fucking exploded. Dude, this guy had to get
Oh.
paramedics and shit.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah, it was fucked up, man. He fucking did not get up.
Oh,
and
damn.
you could see them, they were like laughing and they were like, "Oh shit."
Wow.
Probably got sued for that one.
I guess people love the instant karma then of that kind of content, huh?
Because karma doesn't work fast enough sometimes. You don't get to see it. You hear about it 2 or 3 years down the line. Oh, what's his face? For real, that's really unfortunate. You go like this, about damn time.
I had instant karma once.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't this. You know, like when you're crossing the street and sometimes cars will pull and they block the fucking walk or something. This was in San Francisco, my old neighborhood. So I'm just being a prick about shit. So this cab pulls up on the corner. Right as I'm fucking walking, he just pulls up in front of me. So I just grabbed the back door and I fucking opened that shit.
Yeah.
And then I just walked around and kept walking.
You stupid.
And he's like, "Hey, what the fuck?" It was this like Arabic guy. Dude, this guy tried to fight me. But the instant karma was when I opened the door, it cut my finger.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, God damn it.
What's out there with it, bro?
Yeah, and then I was waiting for the bus. Anyway, I was walking up a block to catch a bus somewhere. Yeah, and this dude fucking like tries to pull up on me. He's like, ah, but he was on the other side of the street.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, then he wanted to fight or some shit, and I was like, bro, you like almost hit me.
That is instant armor, though. But needed.
That's a battle there. The pedestrians versus the cars.
Yeah, he should have known he was in the bad though.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have did that. I should let it slide anyways. But
So you had a reminder there for a little bit. That little
yeah,
cut
I
there.
also thought it was funny.
Yeah, it was.
So he had to get out and like, you know, fucking shut his door. He
Yeah.
thought I was getting in the cab,
other
that's
end.
why I opened it. And he's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I used to play a prank like that, but something similar. I used to like, you know how Celeb used to mall back in the day used to get full?
Yeah.
And you know how people don't want to like park far away? So what I would do is I would walk in the parking lot, I'd grab my keys,
Oh, like you're gonna
like I'm going to the first car there, and they'll follow me, and then I keep walking down, and like they get pissed. I'll do that shit all the time. They'd be like this, I'll be like, yeah.
It is kind of crazy how people will follow you like that.
Yeah.
You know.
They'll
So,
follow you
yeah,
straight up,
you're
and I'll do
playing
that
on
shit all
their-
the time. They get pissed, and I walk. I wouldn't even be in that side. I'll be walking to the other side. They're like,
Just cut through.
yeah, they're like, motherfucker. I'm like, hey, man, you get your lazy ass and fucking walk far, bitch. You know what? I'll do that shit all the time.
Damn.
That's when I was younger. Like, I was like 19, 20.
Like
and shit.
people that are patrolling, driving around, just get the
Yeah,
closest
some
spot.
people will follow your ass too, dog, especially the close spot. But usually I would go to cars that I thought were like expensive. I would go, like Mercedes, I'd be like, take my keys out. Mercedes, and I'm like, this ain't mine. It's fucking like,
Well, you stop and go through your keys and
yeah, I would do shit on purpose. I'd be like this, looking at my phone, like chicken. They'd be like there looking and waiting for me. I'm like, yeah, nah. So that's a prank. So if one wants to use that, that's the ultimate prank you can
That's
play.
a good one.
And they can't sue you because
That's a good one because it doesn't really like mess with them that much. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
that
that's
mess-
on them, you know.
it's
like,
on them for following you. So you really can't. Who ain't pissed at you?
Right?
Yeah, man.
So I don't know, man. There's the recent trend. You're talking about like social media, like
Yeah.
the ones who try and like mess with people to like fuck with them, and you know
They end up
it's
getting
usually
shot at.
Shot,
Yeah,
yeah.
I saw.
Yeah.
You seen that one? I've
seen some of those.
Yeah.
Like damn.
Well, he kind of deserved it.
And then it's like it was just a prank, bro. Is the kind of like the meme coming out of
Yeah.
that. Just a prank, bro. Just a prank, and they're like fucking with them and
Yeah.
being annoying. You know, it's like harassing them.
Yeah. I mean, homeboy, what's his
like
name?
those.
He's called White Dolomite. Well, he'll go in a Walmart. He'll dress up like in overalls and stuff.
Yeah.
He's mixed. He's like half white and black, but he'll act like he's from like the down south and shit. And he'll go to random black people and go, "Hand that thing to me on the shelf there, boy." And,
Damn.
And the black dude's like, "What you say? You heard me, boy. I said grab that thing on the shelf for me." And then, but see, he kept getting fucked up.
Yeah.
So now he brings up another black dude with him. So he'll go like this, "Give me that stuff on the shelf there, boy." And the black dude be like, "You better listen to boss." And the black dude's like, "What the fuck?" And that's what they do. And the thing happened, Boosie Badass was at the Walmart one time.
Oh.
And he's like, "Hand me that thing on the shelf there, boy." And he had an entourage with him, like people with him. And then, who the fuck? And they all swarmed dude and start punching him.
Yeah.
And that's why he had the black dude with him now, because homeboy was getting stomped out. Because Boosie Bad didn't even do, Boosie just looked at him, and his people was like jumping, they jumped his ass. But the dude's, he's half mixed, he's half black and white, but he looked white.
You know, if you're doing that to Boozy, you're getting fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he always does that shit. I would laugh at first, because of the black people's reaction, like, you don't do black folks like that, especially. But they would just turn, one dude was like this, "Man, you better go on with that, bro. You got about 2 seconds, man."
Yeah.
And he was like this, "You heard me, boy?" He was like, "Hey, it's a prank, it's a prank." He was packing in the Walmart. He was like, "It's a prank, man. I'm sorry." Like,
prank.
"All right, man, don't fuck around like that, dog. You gotta cost you your life, dog. I ain't got time for this today, dog. I just got off my fucking 12-hour shift and I ain't got time for this shit,
I
dog."
remember this one.
And homeboy was like, "I'm sorry, man. You better be fucking sorry. Who the fuck you think you
They
is?"
should be giving out gifts if they're gonna be doing this.
Guess what I'm saying? You should honestly, how come be positive shit? Like the one dude, what's his name? His name is Calvin something. And he'll go like this and he'll be like, "Excuse me." He look kind of feminine, but I don't think he is. He'd be like, "Excuse me, you struggling today? You need some money or something?" And the girl was like, "Yeah." "How much you need?" And went in the bag. "How much you need? I ain't got no time." "Hey, I'm pulling it out. $40? Here you go." And he gave him one, and she's like, "Thank you. This never happened to me before." He's like, "All I ask is one thing. What? Can I get a hug?" And he's like, okay. And she felt weird, but she gave him a hug.
Yeah.
But that's like positive shit.
You see to do with the MacBooks and shit and the PCs?
Oh, when they give them out.
Yeah, he'll just ask me like, you like PCs or Macs? You won't even tell them. They'll be like, Mac. I've never seen them say PC actually.
Yeah, what's on that?
They're always like Mac, and then I'll be like, all right, well you can have this fucking.
Damn.
Yeah, that's cool. That's positive stuff. Ain't
And then
gotta
they'll
be
start.
all-
One chick started crying and shit.
Yeah.
It's like
You
I
can do
needed
pos-
this. My shit was fucked up.
You can do positive shit like that. It ain't gotta be all negative, dog. That's what I'm saying.
Sure. For sure.
And we're gonna end it off on a positive note. But I really want to plug you. Like, what do you got think coming up, and anything you want to plug? Or anything?
Yeah.
It's kind of like regular always,
Yeah.
I've got 3 to 4 events a week,
Yeah.
The open mics.
Yeah, you
Come
want
check
to
them out?
The
Yeah.
camera?
Check out Barbed Open Mic. We're all around. We have a calendar, and you can see for each event like what we do. Like I said, Mono Bar is open to anything. So if you want to do a tight 5 to 7 minutes set, come through. Other than that, I do a lot of jazz stuff with the Jazz Exchange. Check out that. You want to have a nice date night or just meet new people. JazzExchange.org. We're all over the city. Different nights of the week. And, I MC and host a lot of events in town as well, like special events. So just follow me, Dead Wall Reveries. That's it. Yeah.
Oh, hell
That's
yeah,
cool.
dog.
That's right.
To be
Hell
kept
yeah.
update.
And I know the jazz nights sometimes are at the Garrison too, right?
Wednesdays.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
shout out to the Garrison. That's a nice spot.
Yeah.
When Richie does this thing there, the vibe is so nice. It's perfect for date night or whatever night you want to go to. I'm just gonna play because honestly,
cool.
I've been there at the
Nice
jazz
spot,
nights,
yeah.
dog. And he flows with the crowd. He flows with the jazz. He spit bars. Actually, doing jazz, dog. You do your, but it's nice.
I love it.
Dude, it is a vibe, dog. I don't drink anymore, but when I do go there, it makes you want to drink. That's how good
In
it's
a good way.
In a good way. So, man, props to you, Richie,
Thanks.
man. Thank you for being on the show, dog.
Yeah,
It's cool
thank you
chatting
for
up with you guys.
No,
Awesome.
This is fun.
Thank
man.
you.
Hell yeah.
Hell, this was fun, dog. We got to close a chapter
Right?
on the fucking.
We learned.
Yeah, we
the
learned,
truth.
bro.
That's funny.
How long you think we've been on?
About 2 hours.
Damn, it's 3:28. We probably start like at 1:30, right? So about
Yeah,
2
what's your
hours.
guess? Yeah?
2.
2?
Yeah, 2.
2? Just even 2?
No, 2. I'm at 2:15.
Okay.
Damn, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
We're at 2:06.
Not too bad. We ended up a little, because I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah, because I wasn't paying attention to when we started. I know it was around like 1.
All right. I'm going to send
20
it.
something.